Add all of us.
You did it.
Hi.
Hi. I was just fixing my slides. Okay, so nice to see you both. Hello. Thank you for joining me.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Tara, for saying yes. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me. That's exciting.
It is so exciting. I don't think I've had like a live with you yet.
I think not since like the Protectors one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
It does feel like a long time ago.
Hey,
April!
Sorry, my dog probably heard like a noise outside. So excited, April. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many people that I was like, I miss doing lives with Tiffany. I miss doing lives with like, I want to do a live with April. I was just thinking about our team back then, like Maggie, Hannah. Like I haven't talked to you guys in so long, it feels.
I know. I'm wearing my shirt.
Oh.
That's so cute.
I couldn't help it.
Mine's like wrapped somewhere away. I need to wear that. Take a photo soon, maybe on the anniversary to remember the good times.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Okay, so I want to introduce both of you on here. Sorry, I don't know why my dog's barking. Okay, I want to introduce both of you guys. Probably the genre that you love the most, and then yeah, I think that's it. If you want to share something fun, maybe what you're reading right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, hey, I'm B. My channel is Mama Needs to Read Romance. And I am really getting into fantasy thanks to Joanna. I love historical romance and I love contemporary romance, but I'm getting more into the fantasy, especially the low fantasy. But I just finished this before the live. It was incredible. And there goes my, sorry, of course. I put on my thing. But this was so good. I've just finished reading this, and it's contemporary romance, B.K. Borson, the first book in the Love Light Farm series. And it was heaven. Magic. Loved. 5 stars. Okay. Sorry, Tara.
You're good. So hi, I'm Tara from Tara Talks Books. Probably my favorite romance, or my favorite. Oh my goodness. What I mostly read is romance. I don't know, I vary it out, but I don't think I read a lot of fantasy romance. I literally like can't think of anything other than what is it called? Fourth Wing. So I'm like just dipping my toes as well. And I literally I'm in the middle of Love Light Farms as well. And I'm enjoying
Oh,
it. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cute. I know all these holiday romances makes me feel like, where have I been this whole time? Because I'm just reading dark and heavy books, typical fantasy reader, I guess. And I see everyone like doing all these cute, like Tiffany just did a video on like all the romance books she just read. And I was like, that sounds so good and wholesome. And I'm just here reading death and like heavy topics. Awful is awful. But yeah, so yeah, you guys know I primarily love fantasy, but my channel is all about trying different genres. But I'm super excited to have 2 primary romance readers on here. We were gonna have Camilla, who's also a big fantasy person, but they got stuck doing like all the things that an educator does. So thank you, Tara, for stepping in too. I could not think of like anyone else to scream Fourth Wing with, because either people are reading Iron Flame super slow or they haven't. So you have to let us know if you want to step away or you don't want to hear spoilers, or maybe we just won't talk Iron Flame during this live.
Okay. I haven't read Iron Flame. I've only read Fourth Wing. I was late to that bandwagon. I literally read it, was it last month in November? So I'm very late.
You're fine. You didn't have to scream like me and B waiting for freaking ever for this, at all. And yes, April, oh my gosh, April, why didn't I ask you to join this? I thought you had another live here today too, but she also read like Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And I think she had a great time with it. But yes, we're going to talk about like questions we have, confusion, just screaming everywhere, because this book is insane. I think.
I was never confused. Poor Joanna. I was like, every day, Joanna, can you explain to me what an Empyrean is?
I loved all your questions. I loved all the voice memos. I had so much fun. I was
Me
also
too.
like, this is a good refresher for me. Like, what is happening in this book right now?
Yes.
Oh my
I highly
god.
recommend buddy reading this book. I mean, it's just so much more fun if you can talk to other people about it because there's a lot to get through.
It is
So,
so dense, this book.
yeah.
So I think both of you said you're new to fantasy, and I just feel like oftentimes in fantasy there's really a primary storyline that you're following. So like a goal, they have to get that power, defeat that evil. It goes by parts, especially if it's a series. It's like, oh, the first part they have to even recognize the villain. The second part they have to like, oh, gain this power. And it goes like, you know, like that. But Fourth Wing, I felt like had 10 storylines. And I was just like, oh, okay, we did that already. I thought that was going to be the whole book, but it's like, well, now we have this, and now we have threshing, and now we have. So it was a ride. I liked it.
Yes.
I really liked it. I binged all of it. I freaking adored it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was late too to the party, just like Tara had said. I listened to it in October. Yes. And then I was talking about it on my channel, and they're like, and you know the next book comes out next month, right? And I was like, oh no, I did not. That
I
is
think
great.
you told me too.
Started in a week, so I was thankful I had them so close together. And
Yeah.
was it you, Joanna, that was telling me that she hasn't even started book 3 yet? Or
Yes.
somebody was saying that. Oh man, so we've got to wait. So you got plenty of time, Tara.
Okay.
The second book.
I have it. I bought it.
Oh,
but I haven't read it because I literally bought Fourth Wing when Iron Flame came out. And then I read Fourth Wing like right when I did that, when I bought it. But then I haven't jumped into Iron Flame yet because I was nervous. I've heard like mixed reviews that like maybe it's info dumpy at first. And then like I was like, oh no, I'm scared. I don't want to be bored. So especially
I wasn't bored.
I'm out here like, yes. It means like no.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
We have thoughts. We have opinions today on Iron Flight without giving spoilers, but I can't believe you haven't read it yet, only because I'd be so afraid of spoilers. That's the only reason I forced myself to really get through it, because I wanted to enjoy the book and take my time, because I knew book 3 wouldn't be out for a while. And then I was like, wait, I can't stay off socials if I'm doing BookTube and Bookstagram and now trying to do the whole book talk. I don't know. I'm insane. But I was like, I can't. I'm going to get spoilers and I'll cry. So I have to finish the book. How are you doing? Are you avoiding spoilers?
I am. So if it even says like not Fourth Wing, but Iron Flame, I'll be like, okay, scroll fast. Or if it's a video, a lot of people put like spoilers, so that's good. But I've been avoiding it. I think I've done well.
Yeah, you have. I before I did I just started Fourth Wing, and like I don't know what I was thinking. I looked Fourth Wing stuff up on Instagram, and at that point I was like, Dane's so great, and then
is he though?
Instagram, I was like, wait, what's wrong with Dane? I was like, why did I look this up?
I know people call him Stain. Stain.
Yes.
Stain. I know. We're gonna get into all of that because I don't know. Yaro's also had a lot to say after Fourth Wing came out, going into Iron Flame, and now different thoughts have been out there after Iron Flame. Tara, I'm like trying not to say anything. Look at April. April's trying to trigger me because I am like, take your time, woman. Take your time, queen. Like, because I had issues with Iron Flame. I definitely had issues. No spoilers out there. I also want you to experience the book for the first time, but I'm patient enough to wait for a really, really good book. It's okay. And other people are like, no, it's not. Like April, give me book 3.
Oh man. Now, did you physically read it or did you listen to it?
I physically read it. Okay. You did both?
Yeah.
You did both?
Yes, because I love doing that with Fourth Wing. Sometimes when I'm like, I want to keep reading, so I'm driving and doing dishes and stuff. But when I got to really good parts, I would like stop it and pick up my physical book and like go back a chapter or so and like read through it, and I was just like, oh, it's so good. And so my vlog, you can see I'm physically reading it because I really had to stop by chapters. It's really hard in audiobook to like stop halfway through a sentence or something.
Yes.
So I did both, and I really liked doing both with Fourth Wing, so I did that with Iron Flame. I think I finished it physical too. I didn't finish the audiobook. I like returned it early and just did the physical copy. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I regretted later because I was like, I wanted to listen to Teddy do Zayden's point of view. Dang it. You know?
I know, right? Oh my gosh. I actually really loved Teddy Hamilton as Zayden in the end. And some people didn't. I don't know if it's because they associate him with like contemporary and like sports romance or something. I know I do, but that may just be me.
Yes, April. I love the narrator for Zayden. He has such a deep voice, and maybe it's because I haven't read the contemporary romances or whatever that I didn't recognize him. I was just like, oh it's a good voice for him. And then I heard in the graphic the guy who does it is Lucian in ACOTAR, and they're just like cringing so hard. They're like, I can't. All I hear is Lucian from ACOTAR when he's trying to do Zayden. It's a whole mess. And then I know some people didn't like Violet's voice for the audiobooks.
Well, she was sick like the first several hours. I remember I heard that before I actually listened to the book from, I want to say, Jessin Reed's Romance. She was talking about that. So I was prepared. But it was crazy. Like, I don't know, like 5 hours into the book, and all of a sudden her cold clears up. I'm like, is this the same person? I mean, it's really noticeable. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I've never heard such a difference.
I know, and I thought it was fine. I was like, wow, I was really into the story because I was like, she was sick. You know? But the second one, I don't know why. Iron Flame, I did like what like April said on here. I like the sense of urgency and like the drama she added. Like if Violet sighs, she also sighs, you know, or she hurries. But I found her like, I don't know if it was Violet more annoying in Iron Flame or like what happened, but I was like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you, girl? I can't. Oh my gosh. But let me see what my slides gonna have. Okay, we'll go.
Ooh, is this a slide, Joanna?
Yeah, I have some questions on here, and we're gonna get a little into Iron Flame, but in a non-spoiler way, so that you can still talk about it some. Sorry. No, you're fine. It's nice having you here. It's also nice hearing a different person's opinion, you know, because I think I loved Fourth Wing. I'm kind of mad about Iron Flame. I look forward to hearing what you think after.
Okay.
Especially after this live. But there's just a ton of in Fourth Wing, and I guess instead of doing like theories, we can get into questions. Like, what questions did you have, Tara? Because I'm curious to see what you're picking up, and you haven't read Iron Flame yet either. So what questions do we have from the Fourth Wing? Because there's so much.
Yeah. Oh I don't know that I have like questions. I guess I like want to know what's gonna happen. Like, obviously, are we allowed to say spoilers about Fourth Wing? Okay.
Yes.
The big reveal of her brother, I was like, what? I was confused, but then like there was like I was telling B, like there was 10 pages or 5 to 10 pages prior where I was like, okay, I know that this is gonna happen. I was like, he's gonna be alive. He had like, I don't know. So I was like, I didn't get the big like, whew, but I was like, that's really like, how is that gonna play into this, knowing now that he's alive? And like Zayden knew the whole time. So like, what a betrayal for her. I don't know. I was like, oh goodness. And then I wonder, I've heard some people say that their will they won't they in Iron Flame gets a bit annoying, and I was like, oh, because I liked it in Fourth Wing. I I love hate to love. So like forth, like I was like, okay, I like this. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I
think then you'll like it in the second one too, because you know it is a will they won't they. See, that's the thing that we were talking about too, because there's arguing. It's like winning her back. And I know how you can feel two different ways about that. Like, why is he gonna want her back? And is this contrived? And I'm trying not to say, but still, it is fun being won. I mean,
it's fun being won. You're so funny. I 100% thought it was gonna be the dad at the end. Like,
did you?
Yes, I was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe Brennan, and then I was like really convinced that they were both. I was like, okay, which one? And then I thought it was gonna be the dad, or I was thinking like, what if the dad is a Venom? What if he's the sage? Like that. That's where my mind was going.
See,
so
your
Brennan
way.
came out. Yeah.
She is.
I don't know. He just knows too much, and there's just so much mystery around her dad still. Like he plays such a big role, I think, in Fourth Wing with giving her the heart of a scribe and like all, or the mind of a scribe and all that stuff. But we don't really know. I don't even fully remember his name half of the time. Like I still don't. Oh my gosh, look at this comment.
Because she refers to him as dad. But it's true. I mean, he really does he knows what's important.
Yes.
I mean, and I don't mean that in just like a moral or ethical way, but the seeds that he's planting, there's a purpose.
Like,
isn't that weird
to find out? You know what I mean? Like sprinkled.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Like the fairy tale. How did, in my head, I'm still like, did he leave that book in there ahead of time? Because Xaden really didn't know, right? Like he still didn't really know about that fairy tale. So I was like, he didn't plant it in there, but it was in her room before she was even there. Do we just not talk about that? Like, do we just move on from the fact that it was just appeared and like he trained her to be a scribe, but he somehow knew she would be a writer and like put it in her room?
It's an interesting.
You see what there's just
something else going on. There's definitely something else. And I know we're not finished with the dad storyline. There's just no way.
Right. I really hope he's not alive. And I just haven't seen.
Right. We can't do two alive. We can't do the brother and the dad.
Like, okay, that would be a tragedy, especially after second book. You'll see.
Oh
why.
no. Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, if he were alive, I think it would be in a tragic sense because it either means he abandoned the family, he's evil, or he's trapped somewhere. He also faked his death, kind of like Brennan did, but he's not a part of the revolution because, you know, we don't see him at the end of Fourth Wing either. So I think that would be really sad, and it would kind of take away from the way as readers, like, where, you know, we see him as this good scribe with so much knowledge. Now what if he came out and he's like, shout out, I'm Venom, like I was training my daughter to be Venom this whole time?
I would hate that. Oh, I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah.
I'm hoping magically there's like an extra layer of good, of protection that they just don't know about yet. But then, you know, I'm not a fantasy expert like Joanna, so I'm just making this up. I have no idea.
It gets crazy. I love April Scott. Violet and Xaden get more drama than a Real Housewife reality show. And that's so true. And oftentimes it felt so manufactured as well, kind of like those reality shows where they throw in a storyline. I'm like, Yaros, what are you doing out here? Like, what are we adding here?
It's so true. I remember at one point Joanna and I were talking about it, and something, I'm not going to say because it was Iron Flame, but something came up, and I was like, and Violet let it go and didn't say anything to Xaden, and then like chapters and chapters later, she finally brings it up, and we're like, we were waiting for this. We knew this was going to be a fight.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't mind the back and forth thing if it's done like well or paced, and I don't feel like it was done well. But then a lot of people are like, well, this is how like 20-something-year-olds act or 19-year-olds act. And I was like, well, I feel like I've been middle-aged my whole life, so that makes sense. And I'm like, no, this is stupid. What do you mean? I was like, I didn't act this way. I was just like, communicate or go away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I thought her sister left. Oh, maybe. Okay, thank you, April. Because there's just so much in Fourth Wing. that her sister left the fairy tale book, not the fairy tale book, the
yes, her sister. That's who she says did.
Yeah, I
and
think
I'm
you're
not.
right.
Yeah, I think that's who she said that she left it for her.
Yeah, I know she gave her the Book of Brennan, but
the one she packed, like in her to go across the parapet. But then the other one, that's the one that she packed, is the one that was special, I believe, right? Or her sister, she couldn't pack it or she couldn't fit it. So she
yes,
when they saw her,
because she wanted to take so many books, and her sister was like, "Are you nuts?" She's like, "I'm gonna die."
Get blown off the parapet before you even make it across.
The most relatable I've ever felt to Violet in like past 2 books. I'm like, that right there. Yes.
Packing too many books. Yes.
A real question: would you survive the parapet?
No. If I had to, maybe.
Would you want to?
I would say yes, because my hair will definitely not fly in my face. I know that's a concern. That's a concern. So
I love how it's just the hair. In the beginning I was like, no. And then as I read the book more, I feel like my delulu-ness is kicking in. And I'm like, you know what? I could be a writer. I want to be a writer. I just hope I'm not freaking, what's his name? Right in the beginning.
Oh, that poor guy.
What was
I can't remember his name. Like, he literally was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get married, and like we're gonna live happily ever after." Dead.
Yes. I'm like, Dylan. His name is Dylan. Yes. So Dylan, that is so funny because I was like, oh, they're gonna be friends. Introduce the second characters, and then 2 lines later it was like, he did. And I was like, what is going on here?
I was like, the girl better make it. She gave her the boot.
Yes. I was like, I guess she's gonna die too. I was just already accepting it. Yeah, I thought I would be so dead. But yeah, I'm more determined than ever to be in there. And I'm like, do I just like high stress? Because being a writer sounds like you're always in survival mode and just super overwhelmed all the time. Like, who's gonna come behind me and kill me and stab me? And I'm like, yeah, great time, dragon. Let me go get one.
Let's go be scribes.
I'd be way better at that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
We have someone who's on chapter 17 of Fourth Wing. I don't even know what's happening there. I have my books under my laptop. But Gianni, I hope you don't get spoilers out here because we are talking all things Fourth Wing. So spoiler
again. Dane is a disappointment though. Yes.
It's so sad. He's so pathetic. And like the way Violet was excusing him, I was like, that's relatable. Yes. Me out here just, it's fine. It's fine. Oh my God.
And like Xaden kept on trying to show her, like, hey, he's not out for you. Like, he'll throw you to the wolves if he has to.
Yes. I see your holiday edition behind you. Have you read the Xaden point of views?
Yes. I was grateful for that. And I was like, I love it. But I understand why she could not make it dual. You know what I mean? In the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, there wouldn't be a twist at the end.
So it's wild because I have way more information than I should have in my brain. Not a spoiler, by the way. Gianni, maybe when we start talking about more stuff, you can log off if you want. Thank you for saying hi real quick. But she did say the reason she didn't want to add Xaden's point of view is because he knows a lot. Like, he knows everything. So if we read his point of view,
we're going to know everything.
We'll know everything. So she said she'll never make it dual or only his point of view until we know all his secrets. And then maybe she'll consider writing his point of view, which makes sense, Yeah. And you would know everything.
That's a good point.
I did like hearing from him though. Like I did. I was like, I like to see how he felt about Violet And I was like, okay, like it made it more like, I don't know, adorable.
You got possessive real quick, and I was here for it. I'm here for like kind of a little bit of a possessive trope.
I mean,
I was like, that's hot. I like it.
I would never join Best Guy.
The worst part, literally, you die. Like,
right? Not for me.
Just die. Oh my gosh. So I had so much fun recommending that to B, as like one of the first fantasy or like high fantasy, because it is pretty high fantasy.
Yeah.
Because and this is just something I've been very honest with, Fourth Wing isn't something super new, or like the concept isn't super insane, but it has so many elements that are so good and so OG fantasy, like early 2000 fantasies of like enemies to lovers, trainee, war college, like evil, good, all these things that it was so fun to read. I was reading like Divergent, Hunger Games, Twilight, all in one with Fourth Wing. So it's a great like starter kit for like fantasy.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even like Harry Potter too, I kept thinking about, because it's a school on its own.
Yes. And
I love too how I'm wondering, and you probably know this, so I will ask you, but knowing that Rebecca Yarros, I think her husband is military, I just wonder how much that military background informed how she wrote Fourth Wing. How much that went into it. Do you know what branch her spouse is, by the way?
It might say
in the beginning, and I thought she did too.
Did she? Okay. Well,
remember. But
they use certain terms like brig, for example, which is like jail. Military.
She was an army brat. It says too.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, she traveled around, like her family and then her husband. So maybe that's why I thought like maybe she was too, because she just comes from a military family. So, and it's in like generations, because I think she also said that during World War II, her grandparents were like swept into that, like great grandparents.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So she does, and like all her romances are very like military too. So
really? I'm gonna have to read them.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
The last letter and in the likely event, because I think I heard they're like military love stories and really sad and tragic, and like will make you cry. And that's
just kidding.
That's everyone's scared. Yeah. Me, and I'm out here like, let me add more sad books. It's a mess.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no,
yes.
That's so
April, it is a fun one. It's a fun book that you just enjoy the ride, The dragon ride.
That's ultimately what I ended up doing, because in the beginning I was like, how old are these people? Because I thought they were very young. Like I thought teens at first when I first started reading this, and I was like, then it would throw in some scenes or mention something. And I was like, that's not teens. And I was like, okay, I just have to realize that they are young, but not that young. That we can't be doing things.
That's what happened to me when I was reading Icebreaker. I thought it was like a YA, and I was reading. I was like, wait a minute.
That Uber scene, ew! I still can't forgive the author for that. I was like, if I were a friend, I would not consent to this. That's disgusting. Like, no. That's a whole other wild book.
I haven't read that one.
The romance is a very wild year that I've been introduced to. I was like, my innocent eyes. But yes, Fourth Wing sometimes read like YA to me.
Yeah.
Yes. It's supposed to be new adult, but I don't know what both of you thought about like the writing style. Mine is the smile. Like, take away the smile. This is really new adult.
Yeah.
Seems more YA. If you took away that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. So
yeah.
Once I like changed my mind frame. So like if I was like, oh, okay. Cause like I could have really not enjoyed it if I would have been stuck in like this is YA, but it's doing this. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just going to read it and I'm going to enjoy it. And I did.
Yeah.
So
you just have to do that. That's what I do with cozy mysteries too, because they come up with the weirdest like reasons why someone would kill someone.
Right.
And it's like, but they can't make it too dark because it's a cozy mystery. And they're like, well, she ate the cookie and she didn't like it, so maybe she killed him. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, now I get it. Like,
it can't be so dark.
Yeah. Own kind of dark. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah. Especially in the beginning when she's all consumed with how her mother is feeling about her and like her placement. Of course, that felt very YA, like first day of high school, almost kind of deal.
I know. I just go through that. General Sorrengail is scary and definitely really controlled her children, I think, because they all, in a sense, have that concern about what mom will say. And it's more like General Sorrengail than mom. Like Mama Sorrengail. So
the only thing I liked about her mom, which kind of sort of I remembered from the beginning, and it like redeemed a little. I don't know. You can't really redeem her, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna see. I think she has more to play into it, but hopefully. In the beginning, when her sister was like, she can't do this, she's not gonna make it across. Like, her body isn't gonna make it. It's gonna break down. And her mom's like, she's in pain every day of her life. Like, she's gonna make it. So like knowing that as a parent and like seeing that in her child, I was like, okay, so she doesn't just not know her child. She knows a little bit, but she goes about it a weird way. So like that kind of like, I don't know, that changed my mind for it. I was like, hopefully she's better than what we think she is.
Hopefully. I think that's an accurate.
Hopefully.
That's a great take, Sarah.
That's what I thought too. I was like, I don't think she's super evil. I think she's just a very like cold mother, maybe, like in terms of traditional affection and tenderness. I think the way she protects her kids and shows up is super different. And I like that she stood up for Violet, and she wasn't a Dane, she wasn't like, oh, my poor baby, you can't do this. Instead, the opposite, she was just shoving her through, like, go, like,
you're gonna do it.
You're gonna disappoint me if you die.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but April's right. Her mom is really interesting, and I think since she's so cold and detached, I bet she knows a lot. There's a lot that she's thinking that I wouldn't be mad if she wrote a little novella on her, like how the parents met, or like, because they just sound so different, like mom and dad.
Yeah.
Super different.
Well, maybe part of the reason, but she was always like that though, right? She didn't change after the father passed, right? To be like that?
She did change in the sense that she got super depressed and sad. And like Violet said that, especially after Brennan's death, it was just so different in their house. And
so maybe they were more similar when they first were together before all the tragedy.
I feel like something changed because like clearly he went more like to help Violet. I don't know if that was because he thought Brennan died, or and she like closed off and was like, okay, I need to make sure this doesn't happen again to any of my children.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know.
The dad stepped up a lot, and then, eventually, like Violet says that his heartbreak over Brennan's what really did him in. Which I still don't really know how he died. Like, it just sounds like she literally says out of heartbreak,
Yeah.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not that I remember, which I think is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
all weird.
We're supposed to assume like heart attack or like because of heartbreak. I don't know.
Yeah. Parapet.
Parapet.
That's how everybody else died. Sorry, I just remembered.
We're all doing it at the exact same time.
You guys are gonna be so mad at me, but what is the name of, is it Liam?
I was just gonna bring up Liam.
I love that guy, and
I love him.
I am so sad to what happened with him.
Yes. Okay.
I hated it. I was like, I don't want this to happen, but it does.
I think I sent B like the saddest reel that like really showcased that scene, even with the music and the art was stunning.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
I am not over it. I am not over it.
I was just gonna say, like, how did Yaros make us love him? Because did he really have a lot of screen time per se? Not really. Like, we didn't really go deep into his thoughts or anything like that. I still don't feel like I know him like so intimately. I still felt like I knew Ray more in some ways than him. And still I got so attached to him and I was like, how did she do that in the writing? Like I'm really surprised that I was sobbing. Like I was crying, planning my plans. Like reading that part, I stopped and I was like, no way, he's like dying. It was like the most sad like death ever.
Yes.
I feel like it's because how Violet and Xaden felt about him. They both had like respect and care for him. So like, of course, if they had that, then us as the reader would. And then with the scenes that he had, and then I like the one about like his sister, and he just wanted to make sure she made it across. And I was like, oh, heartbreaking.
You see in his actions, the few actions that he has, how selfless he is. That, what he said about his sister, and then of course, you know, the passing too, protecting her to his last breath, basically.
Yeah.
But you know how in the bonus chapter, I think it's Bodhi, is it Bodhi that makes fun, or Riddock, that makes fun of Xaden saying like everyone loves Liam, or you know, whatever, like teasing him, kind of like Violet's gonna fall in love with him. And I was just crying again, and I was like, we all did love him, you know. I was like,
we did. Please don't speak his name, he's gonna make me cry again.
Oh, Sarah, I can't wait for you to read Iron Flame.
Yes, I can't wait for you to read Iron Flame. I did not expect, I think I was messaging B saying like, I did not expect certain scenes to still make me cry when we bring him up, you know, because you said you have a grieving Violet too, you know, with all of these people, but especially Liam. And it's just like, it's so real. I really appreciate it because I feel like sometimes people die in books in fantasy anyway, and like they kind of bring them up now and then, and the grief is evident. But in Iron Flame, I feel like it's with her the whole way. Like it's just, it doesn't just go away. Like she's doing things, but it's just always there.
He's woven in. He's woven through, even though he's passed, he is woven through the story, even after he's gone.
You know what I heard, April, because she said the sweet ones are always in danger of being offed. And I was laughing because someone said, if they have a basic name, I already know they're gonna die. Look, they're like Dylan, Liam, like all these other. They kept naming off characters like Jack, like all these different characters that had basic names, and I was like, oh, that is a good point. It's like maybe that's why this new character that we see in Iron Flame right in the beginning. So it wouldn't be a spoiler even if we tell you, but if you realize his name was really simple and the name he picked is so strange. And I was like, maybe that's why Yaros changed his name, because she was like, you ain't dead yet. Like, your name's not basic. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's a good theory.
There were some crazy deaths that I kept saying. I don't want to say the name. I don't think that she's that important, but I don't want to say her name.
That was wild. That was like such a long chapter. For what? For what?
I'm sorry. I don't know if that makes sense. I know we're not really telling you, Tara.
You're fine. You're fine. Now I'm just like, oh, I'm going to have to read a whole chapter.
I'll never forget. I was listening to that part, making lunches, and this thing happens, and I'm just like, standing over these lunch boxes, like unable to move. Like, what just happened?
You're like, why did we spend so much time on this character right now? I mean, it's not a surprise people die. At least that's not a spoiler. Like, people are gonna die in Iron Flame.
Not everybody's making it out alive. This is true.
What was that one that was climbing? Oh my god, what is
the good one? Like the best one in their squad?
Yeah, it was like the girl, and she saw her fall, and she like tried to grab her.
Wasn't it the one you mean when they were doing the not the parapet, the obstacle,
like the mountain thing that like she has to like
Isn't that
Yeah.
Eat to get
No,
across.
it's in Fourth Wing. So it's like her squad goes, you know how they're supposed to simulate like climbing their dragon, and so you have to go
oh.
course. I forgot the name,
I
but the best one of their like team, remember she like died when it was finally her turn, and she was just so overwhelmed, and Zayden was kind of like, well, that's the point, to weed them out, and she's just like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know, it's so funny too, because again, like being new to high fantasy, I was overwhelmed with all the names of like all of her classmates. And this sounds terrible, but I was a little glad when there weren't as many names to remember. I was like, oh, good, because I forgot about that person anyway. Now they're not here, so I don't have to worry about it.
I think I told you, like, if you hear it 3 times, it's important. Otherwise, like, move on. It's just information.
That's what you said. Yeah, and same with like places. I'm like, I don't remember what happened at that place. There's so many places. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I still love her Grief and Iron Flame. So at least I think you'll enjoy that, Tara, because you won't be just run over this event and that's it. You know, like some fantasy kind of do that, but this one does not. We're all sad eyes all over the line.
Well, that's
down. Are you excited to see his sister, Tara?
His sister,
Liam's sister.
Liam's sister.
Oh yes, I swear to goodness, if they kill this girl off, I don't know. I might rage quit. I'm like, we can't lose Liam and then lose his sister, okay?
Right. Yeah. Especially because Violet promised.
She did.
That's a big promise. For the writer's quadrant, like,
yeah,
like yikes. There's so much in there. I hope she makes a book with all of the information that we see. And so I heard this, I guess that kind of goes into theories, but I heard this really cool theory because we were all wondering, like, Jasenia is the one who translated the story for us, right? But why are we hearing about all the smut? I don't know. You know, like, why is the smut translated into this? Does it mean that Violet's sharing with her all of this and helping her translate everything? We don't know. And then someone said, what if she's actually translating the beginning of the chapter and not necessarily like everything in the story, right? Like everything we're reading, because it's so personal to Violet.
Right.
It's kind of hard to read.
Yeah.
So
it's like her diary or her memoirs.
I have no idea. Does that mean she died?
The book behind.
Oh.
But we all keep saying this, so that means she's dead. Like they're dead.
Oh, buddy. They better have grown old and died. It saved everything, and everything is great now. Okay.
There you go. That's it.
I just wrote the book. B and
you
I
did it
again.
Another book, Tara. You and me. She and I are always coming up with the worst books.
They live happily ever after. And then part of me also wonders if they will actually meet Malik. Like, is he a real character, the god Malik? Because Yarrow's made the song movement, or it's a Hosier song, but the lyrics say that nothing will hold me down, you know, I'll crawl home to her, but it talks about like, when I'm gone, bury me gently in the cold dark. And I was like, why are we talking about burying Zayden? Like, I just immediately, my bells went off, like, no.
Another reason.
No,
guys, I'm gone.
Yeah, but then it talks about how he'll always like come back to her no matter what. And I was like, does this mean we're gonna meet Malik at some point? Zayden's gonna have to like come back. Is it that type of fantasy where we're going like underworld, like Hades type of? I don't know.
Oh my goodness,
that would be crazy.
Yeah,
he's mentioned a lot in Fourth Wing.
Yeah,
Malik.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I kind of want to hear.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, no, it just whenever they refer to it, it just reminds me of how we would say it. Was like a colloquialism of just, you know, God, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes, I thought
Yes.
so too. And then there was this one chapter where they talk about like not burning their things. And I think another one of the writers is like, I don't remember if it's Radak or someone, one of the, I think the rebellion kids is like, aren't you really worried though? Like that. And it sounded like they weren't joking. They were just like, but that's, you'll upset Malik. And she's like, I don't care if I upset him. Like, I'm going to do this. And I just feel like Yarrows doesn't really bring things up like that over and over without maybe setting it up for the future. And there's still a lot that she keeps laying down and not answering. It's
Yeah.
just like foundational because there might be 5 books total. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it made me wonder, like, oh, I wonder if Malik will be an actual thing or character, or if it is just going to be like that, like it's a part of the culture and it's not really, because we thought like Venom and Wyvern weren't real in this world.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. That reminds me of Ruby Dixon, who does the Ice Planet Barbarian books, among other things. But it's neat how, this is not high fantasy, by the way, but I love reading her author's notes, but she talks about how on purpose she will leave little threads that she'll maybe pick up in another book or, another spin-off series or whatever. But, you read little things, and you have to have your little antennae up to pick it up. And you're like, oh, I see what she's going to do there.
This whole book is like that. I'm like, there's so much in here. Like, so much.
Did you ever watch the series Lost? No.
Never got into it.
Yeah. So that was a series that it does very similar things in that there were so many questions. And when the series was finally ending, they were like, well, we're not going to answer all the questions. There's going to be a lot left unanswered.
Like, I remember people just being so angry with it. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had
that was so upsetting. Like lazy writing. No lazy writing.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember other things from Fourth Wing.
I was thinking April just said, or he could die and become something else. Does that mean like April, are you thinking like a Venom? And then like how does he
There's just so much that could happen.
Like what?
There's so much that can happen in fantasy. And this is why when I heard that song, if you see the playlist.
The dragons. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's just so freaking much in here. But I was actually thinking about the dragons too, because there's so much secret around Andarna. Like, Andarna, the Empyrean, we don't know. There's so much that Taryn, and like, if you really think about it, Taryn also knew that Brennan was around, like all these different things, right? Or I don't remember if he knew that Brennan was alive, but he knew that there was the Venom and Wyvern and all that stuff that he didn't tell, like Violet.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of secrets too that I'm like, I want to know more about Sigil and Taryn.
Yeah.
But I feel like too, I was thinking, what is the like trope, the chosen one? That's Violet, obviously. Like, because two dragons chose her, you know, like, I wonder how they're going to make that. Are they going to kill her off, or is she going to end up like, because I was going back to thinking about like Harry Potter and like all of the, other things. Because like that's a chosen one trope. And like, how is that going to play in? Are they, and then you're like, maybe they'll kill her off. Oh my goodness, things are happening in my brain.
Part of me would love that. Sometimes I'm like, can we have a book where they kill off the MC and like kind of replace them with someone was going to take center stage? Because I think that would be an interesting book. Like, how do you kill off your main character and then kind of give that baton to someone else?
Yes.
Yeah. That would be cool. But we would all riot if it was Aiden. If it was Violet, I'd be like,
oh well, yeah.
Only if it was Aiden.
I love Zayden. I feel like I relate more to Zayden in the sense that he makes more sense to me in the communication department than like Violet and the rest of them do. They do act like they're 16 more than 19 and 20.
Yeah.
But also Zayden just had to grow up fast. And I was like, oh, maybe that's why. Like he had to step up when his parents were just gone. And all of this responsibility was put on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me, because did it ever say in Fourth Wing? Because he said that he had to do, there's something between him and her mom there's like a deal of some sort. I don't think it doesn't say.
How was our fourth wing? B, we missed it.
We
Yeah.
did. Yes, we did. See,
Yeah.
Tara's so good.
I'm so glad.
When she was telling me,
surprised.
what is it that you said about Brennan? Tara and I were talking about it. She's like, I knew, and you're just saying it. I
Yeah.
knew like 10 pages or 10 chapters or whatever you said. And I was like,
He
I have
dropped
no idea.
something. And I was like,
Yeah.
he's got to be alive then. Like, and they've never said how he died. And I was like,
Ooh.
the brother. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I guessed it.
They said in battle, and that Nolan tried to bring him back to life and couldn't, and burned himself out doing it. Like, ended his own life trying to bring back Brennan. And it's so funny because we all speculated that, well, I thought Brennan was maybe gay and had something with Nolan. And in the beginning of Iron Flame kind of goes that way too. And then someone pointed out, like, he's like, Taran hasn't had a writer for like 50 years or something, or like his last writer was for 50 years or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, so that guy was old then, right? And I was like, like, I don't know, maybe Brennan's into it, but I was like, oh, maybe not. But yeah, he basically what?
Age gap at the same time. Romance readers.
Yeah, just like Sigale and Taran, they're also age gap trope. You find out that Sigale is much younger than Taran in Iron Flame.
What?
Yeah, she is.
Of course.
I like her.
Oh yeah.
I also like that we got to see at the anniversary edition or the Christmas edition or whatever that edition is, where we get Xaden's point of view. We get a little bit of her, and I like that.
Yeah.
She's just like Xaden.
They're perfect.
You know, like, I'm surprised he can even tell her to do anything. Just how we read. I feel like she's rougher than Taran. You know? No, I feel like she is. Like, she's meaner or something.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Is it Hemingway, the quote? It's like the female of the species is more deadly than the male. Is it? I can't remember if that was Hemingway. I don't know. Anyway,
isn't he really misogynistic anyway? That's why he would say something like that.
That's true. That's true. That was Kipling. That was Rudyard Kipling. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, I liked her point of view too. I'm very, like, she really doesn't like Violet. She doesn't like anybody. She's like April from not our April. She's April from Parks and Rec, who's just like,
yes. Yes.
And then Xaden must be like the Chris Pratt character, or Tarn might be
Chris Pratt. Or Ron Swanson.
Yeah,
I think they're like that. They're like Ron and April, and that's why they get along. He's like, oh, you two good people. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. I love it.
I'm so shocked that there's even rules on dragon bonding, because it talks about a dragon being unable to bond someone within the same family, like so close to them, or the person goes nuts or whatever. Like me, my wonderful paraphrasing, they go nuts.
Perfect.
Except Xaden, like, Xaden's been able to get away with his grandfather. I think Fourth Wing says, like, the grandfather was the writer, and then now Xaden gets to ride with Sigale.
Yeah,
which is like, he's not nuts.
Yeah. I did see a theory that Xaden is secretly, what's the like mind reader ones that like go crazy?
Intrinsic.
Yeah, intrinsic. I don't know.
Yeah.
And, you see that one, and he's like dies immediately. Comes out, and you're like, oh god, there goes that guy.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, because of that. Yes.
I did see a theory on Instagram about that, like on one of the reels or something. And I was like, that would be interesting. Like, that he would know. I don't know.
So it's wild, because when people have talked about this one, I am quick to point out that he admits that his shadows read people and read things right away. Because she was like, how did you know I was up on that tree? And he says, like, my shadows knew. So he reminds me a little bit of like if you've read ACOTAR, like Azriel can like really feel people out with his shadows, and he says the shadows like whisper to him things. That's why he makes a really good spy. And so every time I see Xaden go through that, and then we see more of his shadow power in Iron Flame 2, I'm like, there's so much we don't know about his shadows and what he can do. But this is why everyone keeps saying that his signet is super strong, like way stronger than any of the leaders thought it would be, his shadow wielding, and very unique. And that I think that makes it also unique that he can even tell like who's in the room. And he can, I think he showed you in Fourth Wing too, right? With like Dane.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Like feeling him out and stuff.
Yeah.
So
who was he says like, he's General Sorengales, but he's like the leader, the one.
The main guy, Mark, with an M.
Yeah. He's with an M.
The dragon is like the oldest.
Yeah. I want to hear more from him, but I was thinking like, he's like, I got to lay eyes on him every time I'm in.
Melgren.
Yeah, Melgren. Like, oh, interesting.
Melgren,
that ass. We hate him.
I mean,
he's the worst.
Yeah, this is what I want to know more about dragons and their politics in the next one. Yes, because I'm actually really surprised that his dragon picked Melgren, because Melgren just feels so sleazy to me. I don't know. He's weird. Super powerful because he's the one who can predict like battles and what's going to come, you know, which I'm surprised they allow him to live, but they don't allow like an intrinsic or whatever to live, you know, because I feel like they're kind of very similar. They're very invasive. And like Dane, that's invasive.
You
know?
That's true. I was mad at Dane.
Look at B. She's like, don't say anything.
I've tried. Well, there's something I want to say, but I think it might be Iron Flame. No. No, that's okay. We just need to do another one after you read Iron Flame. But actually, I have a thought. Is this a good time or no?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, and now I will say my thought. No, because I'm not. But okay. So don't throw anything at me through the computer or whatever you're looking at. So this is what you mentioned, ACOTAR. So on Instagram, I often see people talking about Tamlin and how he's misunderstood and how he was just overprotective of Feyre. And to me, I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of ambivalent about Tamlin. I could take him or leave him. Dane, I feel like Dane, for me, again, this is not a high fantasy person, so school me.
You're fine, B.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to say something that everyone's going to be like, B had the worst opinion I've ever heard.
No.
Well, this is what I'm wondering. I feel like Dane isn't that bad. I mean, but I feel like I'm probably wrong. I feel like I'm missing something because he reminds me of Tamlin in that he's sort of misguided and like he's got maybe intent is not bad, but he's more like trying to be protective. He's not really listening to the woman, like the main character. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's a lot of parallels between Tamlin and Dane, but maybe I'm forgetting. Like, if Dane is trying to double cross Violet by reading her mind, I mean, that's certainly nefarious. But otherwise, my takeaway was that Dane just really wanted to follow the rules. He was a rule follower to a fault, and he was just too afraid of Violet, like protecting her, to think that she could possibly, you know, do anything herself. I don't know. It just reminded me of Tamlin. But
yeah. Do you want to say something, Tara? Because I definitely have.
Teach me.
But at least in Fourth Wing, he says goodbye to her because he basically sends her to die. Because he figures out, he's like, you need to come with me. And she's like, no, I'm going with Xaden.
Yeah.
He'll protect me. And he had already known, because his dad had already known that, like, you know, he didn't try and protect her then. He was like, okay, well, these guys are going to die and you're going with them. So, and you're my best friends for how long? And you supposedly like me?
Right.
You know what, though? He could very well be misguided by his family and how he's grown up. But I did think he would need a big redemption for Violet. Like, because he really did. He betrayed her. Like, won her trust because he used his little touch thing without her knowledge. And then he basically was like, peace, I'm going to let you die with Xaden. So, I don't know. Oh,
yes. So that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
I was like, I think people are too harsh on Dane, right? So I agree with B, where I was like, it's a little too rough. And everyone's just so used to maybe mainstream fantasy, like what Sarah J. Maas did with Tamlin, that they just assume those are things that are going to happen now. And I was like, go away. It's not all like SJM verse here. Anyways, but no, even Yarrow said we are being too harsh on Dane before Iron Flame came out. And that gave me the sense that there's something we don't know. She's still going to keep him, and she might even redeem him. And then on the day of the like midnight release party, and she did a Q&A, they're like, so what's a character you really enjoyed working with? She's like, oh, people might be upset because I really put Dane in a whole other situation, really put him through for Iron Flame. And I was like, there you go. Like, there's something we don't know. But the part I couldn't forgive was exactly what you're talking about, which is goodbye, Violet. I'm going to miss you. Because at first I'm like, well, okay, he did really bad stuff. He wasn't a good friend. We don't know what happened to him at the writer's quadrant, because it's like his third year or whatever, right? Like his third year, second year.
I think he was second year.
It is his like third year, because it's Xaden's fourth year, his last year.
Yeah, so third year.
Yeah, and you know what Xaden does also, when you said he like hints to things to Violet about what happened in years previous when she wasn't there with Dane. So we don't know what happened.
Exactly. Like their trauma, you know what I mean? Like things he's gone through. And so that made me see Dane in like in a different way, especially after like Iron Flame. But yeah, it's also what April said on here. Dane is doing what he thinks is right for the situation, but not what's right for Violet, nor listening to him. So yeah, Dane equals Tamlin. Except I still think Tamlin was more like violent and like a bystander, because there's even art of like him sleeping while Feyre's like vomiting for the 5th night in a row because she can't sleep, and he's just like, that was some great sex, and just like sleeping. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's bad, you know, like you're not held by Amaranth anymore, you can do something. You know? And I think that's where a lot of like stereotypical, I wouldn't even just say men, but people who don't know how to help someone cope, like they don't have those skills. And I've always said that Rhysand even admitted I would be a totally different person. I would be like the king of Hybern if I didn't have Amren in my inner circle with me, you know? And so Tamlin never had that. He had like such bad male figures in his life. And like Lucian, what the hell's Lucian gonna do? That spineless jellyfish. Just like,
apparently I need to read some Sarah J. Maas.
Yes, you do.
I never have.
I want to reread them. I want to read them. I read the last one, so I want to reread the first one.
Yes. So this is what I think about Dane a little bit, but I still think he's nicer than freaking Tamlin, who just, I don't know, when he could do something, he didn't. And in this case, Dane is like, but the rules, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a question then. What do you think Violet would have done if he had said to her, if you leave with him, you're going to die? Like if you leave with Xaden.
Yeah, because he didn't
say that. She would have left with him.
Yeah, she would have left.
You what? You think she would have anyway?
Yeah.
I kind of think he thinks that too. And maybe that's partly why he was just like,
well, bye. If I have to say the fan art about him, like, man, he is handsome. I can't lie.
I do love the fan art. Yes. That's when I found out the whole stain thing. And I was like, oh, it's Violet and Dane. Oh, wait. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, because people called Tamlin like tampon or whatever. I was like, can you guys wait a little bit? Just wait a little bit. You know, like, let's see what he really did out here.
Are you guys follow Books and Writing on Instagram? Because she's like out for blood about Tamlin, like on his behalf. Like, Reese is the worst and Tamlin's the best. Like, she's really, I was like,
I'll be like, Lucian, is that you? Like, is that you advocating for your boy? Because that's basically what Lucian was doing. He's like, Feyre, you must be nice to Tam, you know?
Tam.
Like, yeah. She's like, okay.
I love it.
That's so, yeah, that's so funny. How did you feel about Jack?
Remind me.
Jack, the orange
Jack
slices
Barlow.
man. The one who's so mad, it's just so violent with Violet.
Yeah. The one she ended up offing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she
finally needed to go sooner.
He really did, honestly.
I was like,
with
you are in a college that is killing people left and right, and people are dying. Why is this guy still alive?
Should have killed him at the parapet.
Right?
Yeah.
But like I feel like that is realistic in that sense of like could we just commit murder right off the bat?
Yeah.
You know, like not being trained for this, it'd be like, well, let's have some mercy, you know, like that was hard. That would be hard.
Yeah.
You know, that legitimately kill someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
But would Liam be alive? Yes, he would.
Oh, you think so?
Oh,
because isn't that when he died? Am I jumbling things in my
He
brain?
almost died.
Almost died.
Almost
That's right.
died. That was when technically, as they say, like Malik should have taken him there and eventually took him at the end of the book, because that's when he should have died. Look at me. I can't with your face. It's like so sentimental. I feel it though. I took away some art in this life that I have because it would give you some spoilers. I was like, I can't show certain art on here about all of this grief that we're feeling. I know. I know. I want to see, what characters do you want to see more of in Iron Flame?
Well, definitely the brother. I'm like, where did you come from? What is happening?
Story.
I don't know. I guess like Xaden's like crew kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to hear more about them and like how they bonded, and you know, like why are they so faithful to him? Honestly. But I guess I can understand because he's the one who made the deal.
Yeah.
And they survived. You know,
because of him.
Yeah, because of him. If not, they'd all be dead. And then who was it? I want to learn more. Who is about the girl when she finds out and like Xaden is working with her and they're, oh my God.
Oh, from the Griffins?
From the Griffins, yes. I want to know like
Serena?
Yeah, she seemed like an intriguing character. I don't know if we're going to hear anything from her. She didn't die, right? I don't think so.
She didn't die.
Yeah. So like kind of like how that plays into it.
Yeah, the Griffins. I was definitely curious because they look like they just don't trust each other.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
I was more curious about Riddock and like Riddock and like Bodhi.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of Bodhi because that's Xaden's cousin. And I was like, all right, Violet can have Xaden. I want Bodhi. Yeah. Like, I want Bodhi. Like, we're in the family, but like, I want Bodhi.
I love it.
Because I had some art here I do want to show.
I love Riddick and Sawyer. OMG, I love it.
So it's so funny because there's a ton of art around Xaden, and like when I saw this art for Bodhi, I was like, oh, you can see the family resemblance as if they're real people. But I see so many girls splitting off into like, I'm a Sawyer girl or like I'm a Riddock girl after Iron Flame, and you'll know them more, Tara. But yeah, I love Riddock. Made me laugh so hard, but like I ship myself. I volunteer for Bodhi, especially because I think Riddock's gay. In the end,
he is gay. I know, we talked about this too.
People say they're like Riddock girlies. I'm like, you know, he's gay, right? Like, he's not available.
You told me that too, and I was like, my favorite is Riddick, and you're like, he's gay. I'm like, yeah, I know, he's still my favorite.
He's like, I'm married. It's okay. We can be friends.
I just love his personality. I adore him. He's like the comedic foil or whatever. I love him.
Yeah.
And Sawyer really grows on me in the second book. Oh, Tara, you're gonna love Sawyer, his role in the second book. It's cute. It
is cute.
When we get Xaden's chapter at the end over here on Fourth Wing,
yeah,
I liked Riddick. Yeah, because I remember him like totally teasing Xaden, and Xaden was like, "Stop." But I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be a fun character."
He is so funny.
And I love Bodhi too. I mean, he's terrific. And I guarantee you, I'm calling it right now. There's going to be so many Bodhis, like babies named Bodhi, coming. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a great name. It's a strong name. And I can just see it's going to catch on. It's going to be, everybody's going to be Bodhi, like 5-10 years.
Riddick made me laugh so hard.
Yes.
Especially when we get to know more about the infantry too, Tara.
Oh.
And that like exchange made me laugh so hard that like it just gave me he gave me so many real ideas, like reels for Instagram. Yes. It's just so funny the way he would troll like everyone around him. And when they were asking him like, what do we do if a dragon comes up? He's like, we'll have to sacrifice one of you so the rest of us can get away. Like the most serious way possible. I was dying and so hard. Oh my gosh.
I seriously thought that Riddick had a crush on one of the guys in the infantry. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think he did.
But I was like, oh, there's something going on. And it's cute.
He even talked about how it broke his heart when Xaden finally found someone. He was like teasing. Like he was teasing Violet about it. He was like, oh, he's like, well, if you won't, I will, you know? Yeah. It was so funny.
I love it. I love it.
Bodhi's so interesting to me though. Yeah. He's just interesting because he's an actual cousin. So I think it's like the only living family member Xaden has. And I'm surprised by how similar they are in strength and in loyalty and fierceness. But Bodhi's still kinder. Like there were some scenes in Iron Flame too that I was like, I could ship it, you know? I was like, oh, Xaden and Violet are endgame. But I was like, not bad, you know?
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Just checking him out. And then we do have these mega awesome. I just love finding fan art. Like I give credit to the artist on there that I put up there because it's not mine.
Right.
But they're so you're like, wow.
They're so good.
Yeah.
That's how I picture them.
That's true. Hira. That's her sister, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Have you seen like artwork for Lilith?
What's
the mom?
What now?
What was that?
Is Imogen only in the second one? Is she in the first one?
She's in the first one. She hates Violet, but she's in
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Xaden's, and she thought, isn't she who likes Bodhi, or is it Riddick? Because remember Violet thought that Imogen liked Xaden, and she's like, and Xaden's like, that's not me who she likes. Who was it? Was it Riddick?
Maybe it was Riddick.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was a girl because then she starts dating someone at the end of the book. The fourth wing.
I thought it was Rhiannon that did.
Her too.
Rhiannon has an on again, off again relationship with someone, right?
Someone named, I think her name is Tara, actually.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Did you not remember that?
I didn't.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You know what? Tara is always the bad person name. So I was like, oh, it always, in everything, it's like Tara's like the mean girl. And I'm like, that's correct, people.
Like, April loves Bree, and so does Tara. It's book canon. It's there.
Oh no, that's so funny.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe Bodhi, because Riddick is so obviously like. Well, at first I thought maybe he was bi, but I heard Yarrow in the interview say he's gay.
Okay,
so who knows? We'd have to check again. You'd know more than us because you read it more recently.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that she might have a crush on him, but he doesn't, and he's like, he doesn't even notice it. So
Yeah,
if
it's
the
a
book's
good-
gay, then
Yeah.
he's not, that's how he's looking at.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good point.
Rhea's so cool. I hope we get to see like even more of her because I still think she's a little too like far away or two dimensional still. You know, like I want to see more of her, more I just want to see more like grayness in all the characters. And I
Yeah.
feel like Mira does a good job of that. She does feel a little bit more complicated. As does like Zayden, obviously more of a complicated character. But I'm like, if Ree's the best friend, she should show up more and she should have more dimension to
Yeah.
her. Because I really like her. She's such a good
Yeah.
friend. Like she's such a solid friend.
She is.
Yeah, she is. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked when they snuck away to see like her sister because her
Yeah.
sister had a baby. I was
That's
like, "Aw."
right.
Her twin sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Till trivia night. All the art I see, because the book says that Mira looks the most like her mom, you know?
Oh.
And so all the art I see is like of Mira is like this. And then if you see art of General Sorrengail, it's so similar, but just gray instead, like gray hair and stuff. Because
Oh.
she's described that way, or like with the silver hair, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think after Iron Flame, I've appreciated her more, and I think I definitely see more of the mom in Mira in Iron Flame.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's scary because that means
Very
what
few.
does Mira know? Like, does she know that her brother's alive? Probably not. And then if she finds out, is she going to be more like, she's not going to be a Violet? Oh my
Not
God.
gonna be a Violet.
You guys are making me think.
I can't wait for you to read this book, Sarah.
Things are happening.
Things are happening.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more piece of art.
Yes.
But and it's not that much of a spoiler, Katara, I promise. I'm like, not that
Should I go like this?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
But I just wanted to touch on these two characters.
Wait, there's no Zayden art? Is there Zayden?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have
Wait, Zayden and Violet.
I know I ignored them. I was like, nah, we're fine. We're talking about the
I
characters.
was like, anyway, Bodhi, because I like Bodhi, so I'm doing Bodhi art.
Bodhi art. Bodhi.
There it is. There it is.
Look how he looks like he belongs in like a Pan Am propaganda, you know, like so.
Right.
Okay, you'll meet them, but that would be Liam's sister, Sloane. And then the other one, minus the blue eyes, the artist later said they have to like fix that because she's described as having brown eyes, but is Catriona. And I thought that was a great art of Catriona.
Yes.
Just described as like beautiful and noble, like clearly like blue blood, whatever. But these two characters, I was just wondering, B, like, do you like them? Like, do you like these characters?
I actually like Catriona way more than I thought I would. I think Catriona's problem, what can I say? I don't know. I think I like Catriona. Sorry, Tara, I'm being really careful.
It's okay.
And then Sloane. Yeah. I mean, I do. I think that if we were seeing these characters apart from Violet, that they would be great characters. They have very compelling reasons to act the way that they do.
Facts. Yes.
Right?
I just wanted to at least show the art at least because I really like it. I didn't like that. Girl, I know. I would think I was telling B all the different ways the author could have used Catriona, and you were like, can you write the book? Because I was just like, she could have been a much more dimensional character.
Yes.
I like the theories around her and everything. But I just love the art. I was like, at the very least, I want to show some of this art because I love seeing all of this art coming out for us to really visualize the characters. Catriona was a little bit hard for me to picture because of just how daring, like the audacity this girl had and the awful storyline she was stuck with. made it really hard for me to even picture her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she had to play a part.
Oh no. Am I gonna put away all my like December reading and just read Iron Flame? When I happen?
You are. Yes, you are, Tara.
Oh, now I'm intrigued.
So good.
Honestly, I like it was sticking to Fourth Wing a little bit because I mean, we had these questions too. What the heck is going to be Violet's second signet? Because she's paired with Andarna, and like she can not like control time or anything. That was just a feather tail thing. Now we have a teenage Andarna, so eventually her signet will show up. But what? You know? You think you know, B?
I don't. Well,
because Yara said we have everything we need to figure it out.
Oh,
she like confirmed that we have everything we need in these 2 books to figure out her signet.
Okay, so this is again somebody who doesn't have a lot of fantasy background, so help me. But the theme that I consistently see is Violet's one of the things that define. Not that I like to define someone, but one of the things that define her as a character is her love of others and her selflessness. Yeah. Is there a way that could translate into a signet? Because I feel like that would be the most natural. Like initially I would be like, okay, is this something that's also going to relate to the weather? Because she can do this with the lightning. But I mean, I don't know all the potentials for signets. I don't know if it's again like the sky's the limit, but
I think so. Because even in Fourth Wing, I missed this until I rechecked some theories. It says that Violet's signet is actually just power, like having power, but she chooses to manifest it in lightning.
As lightning, I see.
Lightning, yes. So she could manifest it. It sounds like in many ways. It's just right now it's lightning.
Lightning.
Yeah. And with protecting people like Mira, sorry. Mira, right?
Mira.
That's how you say it? Okay. Mira. All these names, man. I'm like reading other
tell, You can tell who mostly reads it and mostly who listens to it. Because like when I only pronounced it the way that I heard it, but then when I was typing to you in Instagram, I was like, I don't know how you spell any of these things.
Yeah.
Like Riddick, like I'm typing it one way, you're typing it a different way.
Yeah. It's just been a while. And right now I'm reading a book that's like Spanish too. So my brain is like, wait,
oh wow,
switch this around.
Oh, that's so cool.
And all the names are like wild in there too. So yeah. But yes, since I heard it, I know their names because I wanted to know how to pronounce like Zayden and Sigale and like Taryn and all that stuff. This Gaius, all these things. But yes, Mira, she's the one that can actually pull like shields from all the, what is it called, the wards and everything.
Oh yeah.
So she can pull all of that together. So it reminds me a little bit like, but would that be too lame for Violet to protect people she loves?
Well, yes, probably.
Welcome back.
Should it relate somehow to Zayden? Like if they're paired? I mean, what decides a signet? Is it sort of related to your dragon or
no? We find that out in Iron Flame. I don't know if you want to hear, Tara. It's just revealed of like how a signet, like they all know it, we just don't know it because we don't know dragon culture. But Violet finally says it, and so does Zayden, and we're like, oh, that makes sense. But it's in Fourth Wing, and it's just like more repeated in Iron Flame.
Yeah, I thought it's like based on their true self.
Yes. It's also based on what you need most.
They are.
Yeah,
based on what you need most.
Yeah, so it's like what you really need, and also your true self, how it chooses to like manifest. Right. And so this is why she kept saying like, well, Zayden is a man of secrets and like he needs all of that. And that's why he has the shadows. Yeah. And that's why they're so strong too. And they can like kill people and like all this stuff because he needs it. He needs that. Just like Mira wanted to do all of these things. I'm so bad sometimes with the A's and the like Tara, like sometimes.
Yeah. You're not the only one. It's okay. I get it all the time.
Yes. Yeah, don't worry, Joanna. We're just talking signets. Nothing crazy. But yes, like I was just looking at all of that, and I was like, what else does Violet need? Like, what does she need that is something that she can actually pair up with Andarna? Because the only thing they do is like pull from their magic or their power. It's not necessarily the power that the dragon has.
Mm-hmm. They just use it to manifest. Yeah.
That's when it reminded me of Twilight, because I remember when you become a vampire, whatever is going on, it like, becomes exponentially more.
Yeah.
Like Rosalie was kind of not very nice in that she
I
became.
was like, what are you talking about?
No. Well, I have to bring up Twilight and everything. No. No, but you remember how, like, I'm not making this up, am I? Does anyone else remember this besides
I've
me?
only watched
I
the
do.
videos.
Oh, okay.
For the movies.
Oh, well. But I think they say somewhere in the movies, like, whatever is in your heart or whatever you are, like, personality-wise, the vampire part of you, like, really amplifies.
But like not everyone, yeah, that's true. Okay, so I learned that in Midnight Sun, especially, that not everyone gets like an actual gift like Edward, but they do get their sense of self amplified. That's why Rosalie's beauty was even bigger. That's why Esme's like motherly love was even more intense.
Yeah.
And that's why Carlisle was like an even better caregiver and stuff, because it amplified all of that. But it doesn't necessarily mean like they can heal, they can nurture, they can
read minds, and
all that stuff.
Future, and
this is what I mean. Like, this book shows everything together. Like,
yeah. Well, that's why I was like, she loves people, and so. But then it just reminds me of that would be lame, because if her signet was, it would just be the same as Bella.
Whereas like
protecting everybody,
Mira, like
Yeah, and Mira's already basically got that. So
yeah. No, I'm doing something cool.
Double
I wonder if they're like opposites. So she is lightning, he is shadows, light and dark.
Yeah.
And like he has secrets. What if she's like a truth of some sort? You know what I mean?
Ooh, what if she has
Mira?
No, I'm
like how could a signet like get truth? You know what I mean? Because really, that's what it's after. She's after the truth of everything.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what she wants the most. So she's found out, like, you know what I mean? Like her family, what's going on with her dad, what happened with her brother. Like, so, I mean, how would they make that as a signet? I don't know, but it has to be like something with truth or something, because that's what she wants.
I can't
wait. That's a good one.
With her mom and with Mildred, and there's a bunch of secrets about like what happened with Xaden's family and all those people. Clearly lies about Venin. Like, so
that is so true.
I don't know.
I mean, that's her biggest problem with Xaden, is that he's not willing to tell all.
Yeah. Tell all.
I don't know how you make that, but
yeah.
I'm more like, what the heck is distance wielding? I don't, because it was brought up multiple times across both books. And like in the second one, there's the whole like, oh, we haven't seen a distance wielder and whatever. Just a passing comment. But I'm like, what do they do? Do you have any idea, B? What are they supposed to do?
I'm making this up from another book that I read, and this is
where take it, because honestly
becomes a problem. I want to say that it is like they can sort of transport themselves over space.
Ooh, if that's the case, then it still ties a little bit to Andarna's ability as a feather tail. But I mean, don't all feather tails control time?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up until a certain point. I really hope that Andarna's personality is like snarky, because she's a teenager. I hope so. It better be.
So funny.
I need that in my life.
You're gonna love her so much.
April's calling her Violet's power is overblowing every situation she's in. I don't know how more people don't get annoyed with her with Violet. I don't know how I don't get more annoyed with her, because I hate an annoying MC. And like, I don't think she's annoying per se, but there are moments that I'm like, what is the matter with you? Like, just move on. Like,
yes. There you go. I love that. Sarah,
you know what? Reading sprint. Start reading, mute us, come back after 3 chapters. We'll talk through them.
I will give you one of my Audible credits. You can listen to it.
I just used my Audible credit too.
I got a bundle and I won't use it. And they email me every day. They're like, here's inspiration for your credits you haven't used. I'm like, stop talking to me. I'm saving them.
I'm saving them for dark times.
But I'm saving because I will need them at some point.
For dark times. I've not been on Audible, so I'm like, what is this? Dark times. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions you have so far here for Fourth Wing? Because I'm just blanking. Like, there's so much in Fourth Wing that I still feel like wasn't answered in Iron Flame at all, especially about dragons, about leadership, just so much. So anything you bring out fresh from your mind is like valid because there's just so much. I'm like, what even happened in Fourth Wing? There's
so long ago.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely just want to know like more about Xaden's family.
Oh yeah.
And like what happened, and like I want more of that. Like I want to know more of like how it got to that point and like why they died. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what were they silencing? Because that's really what they did, probably.
Yeah.
So like, what is this big reveal that we're gonna have?
Also, he had a sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I thought so.
I wonder if she died in at the parapet or something. That would be sad.
Did she die before?
When she was young?
I think so. Yeah.
Like along with everyone else.
Yeah. Wait, what about his mother though? Or am I not allowed?
His mother died. Well, according to, didn't it in Fourth Wing, they said like, weren't they going to save the women or something? I don't know. There was something, and then she went along and they killed her too, with the dad. Am I thinking of something different? Yeah. I can't remember now.
I remember.
Okay.
About the mom, but
is it Iron Flame?
Because I think they do say it technically in Fourth Wing, but it's all of it is in passing that Violet really asks for more details in Iron Flame, and so more stuff kind of comes out. And there's still stuff we don't know because even by the end of the book, I'm like, dang, there's way more about like we know there's more about Xaden, but even the stuff he shared so far, there's this comment he makes at the end that like broke my heart. There was this really good art, and I put the quote under that art the artist made. I was like, this is what your art reminds me of, like this exact quote. And everyone was reacting like sad tears in that quote. But it does have to do with like the women in his life, including like his mom. You'd be surprised. So you said that in Fourth Wing it's like she did, right?
Something like that. At least that's what you assume,
right?
Unless she turned on him, his dad, and turned him in. But
some Xaden art, since we didn't get any Xaden art. Do you see that?
Yeah,
he's like on his knees, sad. Your face. I'll take a picture. I'll post it.
I love it.
Got the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yes.
It's okay. Violet can help him.
I can help him. Be like, let me comfort you. I love seeing those reels of like that little it's a kid that's like dancing, and it's like me on my way across the parapet to comfort Shadow Daddy, and it's like, I got no problem coming for you.
Oh my goodness,
that's great.
I'll pull this up. Feel free to discuss as I grab this other piece of art for you.
I love the art.
Yeah, I found one on Instagram that was Xaden. I was just scrolling of Xaden and Violet. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I liked how they like did her hair, because her hair is like a big thing, obviously.
Yes.
She keeps it long, and then it's multicolored, and that's like how you know she's a Soaring Gale.
Right.
Yeah. Which is interesting, which is like bloodlines. Like, what is that? Does that have something to play into it? I don't know.
Sarah, you're so smart, because I come in Iron Flame that even like the writers themselves are like, does bloodline have something to do with like how strong we are and like signets and all that stuff, all the things.
Also, is it like a scribe and a writer? Is that why? I don't know. Like, because usually it's like, don't they say it's like they don't marry like writers or something? I don't know. Or it's rare. Who knows? I don't know. Go with it.
Sarah, you're right. When you're right, you're right. God.
I feel like, is that from a movie, B? When you're right, you're right.
Yes, it is. Well, I loved in Iron Flame. This is not a spoiler, and Terry, you'll get this too. The riders, I'm gonna just call them pilots. The riders, the infantry don't know what to do with each other, and they work together, and they're like, I don't know. You're infantry, we're riders. We don't know. I mean, we have no common ground, basically. And they're like, you're gonna have to work together.
Oh, poor Zayden.
Oh,
so good.
It's so good. I think it was inspired by like another art piece or like a photo or something like that.
Taryn, is that Taryn in the back?
Yeah, maybe. I figured just dragon. Sigale.
Any dragon could be.
And like his shadows are coming off of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like he looks pretty stuck in his grief and like overwhelmed, because I think he really is strong, but toward the end of Iron Flame you realize just how like vulnerable he can be and how heavy everything is for him.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like you feel like that at the end of even not Iron Flame, but Fourth Wing, of just like how much, like, you don't know the details, but you know like that he has a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
You know, and like probably just how much he has to deal with. Because it's like all of these people, all of them are like, if something happens to me, what is going to do? You know, what's going to happen to them? Or if I do something and I get caught.
That's what breaks my heart about his relationship with Violet, because he's so desperate for her just to love him, but she's putting this provision or whatever on their love. Like, I can't unless you're telling me everything. He's like, I just can't tell you everything.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want to become more understanding about that. I'm like, come on. There really are some things you really are weak with your mind blocks. Like, give him a break a little bit. Like, you guys just met, and he's not gonna just reveal everything. It's literally not about you, Violet. Okay,
right?
It's about the
world. Right. Like, I guess she just feels like she can't trust him if he's not telling her everything. But the thing is,
you ain't ready.
Right. She has to be willing to trust him. This is like half the plot of these books, but she has to be willing to trust him without knowing everything, and that he has her best intentions at heart. You know, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Here's some like extra just randomness for you guys from me.
Yes.
I hella called out the publishers. I was so upset with them.
What?
Because the whole reason we didn't get stenciled edges is because they wanted us to get the book faster, which in my head I was like, capitalism. It's not about that, but okay. And I was like, all right, fine. I won't be a downer. I'll like, thank you, sure. Because a lot of people were like, kind of like April, like, no, please give me the second book. I was like, okay. But then it was misprinted. There were all these issues. Like, they literally are doing an exchange program right now, Red Tower, because the end papers are upside down. Instead of it saying Iron Flame on the spine, it says Fourth Wing. There are missing chapters.
I need to see, because I didn't check.
Terry, you better make sure your book is okay.
Look at you. I know. You're talking about Iron Flame, right?
Yes.
Well, now I need to double check.
You better check.
Also, this is why. This is why I'm scared. Look at this chunky thing.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's 28 and a half hours. You listen to it.
Thanks.
I
have a long drive coming up. Oh, wait.
There you go.
I have children.
They cannot even. There is like 10 times more spice in Iron Flame than there is.
Yes, that is
Just kidding then.
Wait, April, did you also, mine was missing the chapter 17 dragon. It didn't have a dragon. And the beginning where it talks about like the publishing page is misprinted. It's like totally misprinted. So I was wondering if yours is the same, but those are basically the things you should look out for, is like missing chapters. I listened with the audiobook too, because I was like, what if there's a missing sentence and like mine doesn't have that? And I would totally miss out on the story.
I got a dragon on chapter 17.
Oh, you're lucky. I want a dragon.
It really ups the production value. I liked it better with the dragon. Oh, she's got it too.
I got a dragon.
I'm jealous.
First,
I'm dragon. Yes, that's true, April. That is true. I think I was just mainly more upset because they rushed this. And I left a comment on their page. I was like, hope you learn your lesson. I was like, you rushed it and it didn't even turn out right anyway. So I was like, take your time. Let Queen Yaros write her book. Let her live.
Yeah.
That's your cute dragon sprayed edges.
You're so lucky, April. If you ever want to part ways, let me know.
That's hilarious.
Oh.
I pre-ordered mine like weeks ahead, and I guess I didn't do it early enough because it still came more than a week late. And I was
that too. All like the pre-orders showed up late, and like people who went in store got their copy.
Yeah, I was complaining about it on Instagram, and it was my most watched reel. They were like, "You've had 1,000 people watch this reel." I'm like, I didn't know 1,000 people could see my stuff. Yeah. But that's like way more than I've ever had on Instagram. And then somebody was like, "Just go to Walmart." And I was like, "Oh, whoops." Oh, and I have to show you what I got at the used bookstore. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
It is the officially licensed. See, this is all backwards. Now I'm getting confused. Fourth Wing gift set. This was at the used bookstore.
So cute.
I know. I was so excited. And it's still stuck together, and I don't want to mess it up. Well, I'll take it apart. So we've got, oh my gosh, this is backwards, so I keep getting confused. We got the sticker.
Hi, Hannah.
Marvelous. I do a terrible job showing you stuff. And then Post-it notes. I don't know what I'm going to. Can you imagine where am I going to write these?
I will not die today. It's in the office every day. You're like,
I didn't know about my kid's lunchbox. Hey.
They're like, man, why does your kid have something that's like, I'm not going to die today? Suicide Prevention Center, something.
Or you're going to get a note back like, I read this book.
There you go.
From the teacher.
That's true. That's very possible, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's Guyeth War College. This is a sticker. I think it's so cool. Bookmark. I'm totally hijacking this to show you my stuff. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. We should
like,
just feature you.
No one offers. Yeah. And this is, I just think, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without the dragon is dead.
Right.
Liam.
That really didn't hit me until Liam.
Oh, I love the clouds.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe I got this thing. And then a notepad.
Nice.
Which is so fun. Anyway, just fun.
You see here another sign you should read Iron Flame. Hannah logged on. Hannah is listening to Iron Flame in the car.
That's awesome.
Doing audio from the library and holding out for the paperbacks are actually really pretty because when you line them up, the spine continues like the graphic. That's so satisfying.
I'm gonna spend more money.
Book stuff.
Yay.
Oh, look. Yep. My chapter 17 dragon is missing. I never noticed. I was at least happy. My indie bookstore order came like right on release date and it was signed. So I was like, cool. I got like a signed edition. So that was fun.
I loved, by the way, Joanna, your video where you do all your opening, all your unboxings. Those books. Do you just go and just look at your books?
Yeah.
I mean, they're so gorgeous books.
I know. My part 2 is coming out tomorrow. Literally, it was like I had both parts recorded already, but I was like, oh, I need to do other videos before, and I kept putting it off.
Yes.
I was like, I need to post it before 2023 ends.
Right.
This unboxing part 2.
Oh,
What a ride. And I'm thinking I might let them stack up again and just open them again, because I haven't finished reading all of them anyway.
Right.
You know, so I could just be like, okay, my physical TBR is where it should be, because never done, but where it should be. Now I can open my books, because that was fun. That was a lot, though. That was a lot to open.
So nice, though. I love those books. So
here we go. I skipped this comment because we moved past it. But yeah, you see other people agree. Calm down, Violet. Give the man some peace. That is such a big debate, because some people, even like B and I, were like, well, we kind of understand Violet's point of view in Iron Flame. But then I remember telling you, like, after a certain point, I was like, I kind of agree more with Xaden. And then you got to that same point and you were like, oh yeah, I can, or I agree more with Violet. I think I said with Violet in the end. Because of just the way he was like, we'll ask. And she's like, well, you need to like offer information.
We're not playing games. Yeah, the more she gets, that's the thing. Like, the more that she becomes part of it, she needs to know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's risking her life, you know. So, but I mean, there's also I think about the real world and security clearances, and people have different levels of clearance, and that's the way it goes.
I'd be like, just because we're in love doesn't mean you have security clearance. That sounds like something Dane would say. Like a Dane thing.
That's true. That's very
true. I heard, like, you sound like a Dane right now. Yeah, so
maybe he's more real life
being written right now. Yes, that would definitely be in a Dane Violet fanfic.
Yes, it was a little bit annoying. I'm wondering if, like, well, Hannah's reading the book right now, but Hannah, if you're listening, I wonder how you're feeling about all of the miscommunication or the communication stuff going on in Iron Flame. Look at me, like, oh. Because I think some fights were good. Like, some fights were really well written, but most of them, I was like, this book could have been like 300, 200 pages shorter.
So many fights.
See, this is why.
So many fights. Yeah.
I don't like it. That annoys me.
Yeah.
That annoys me when, like, they fight and then they, like, get it together, people.
Yeah. Get it together. Because we're older now. But like I said, I can't relate to regular 19-year-olds when I was 19. So what does this mean?
Still, like I said, like, if I want to hear fighting, I'm just going to take my AirPods out and listen to my children fight. I don't want to hear fighting in the book. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't. It's like a contemporary romance I read not too long ago where there was all this like infighting in this family. And I found myself, when I wasn't reading the book, trying to troubleshoot like mediation for these people. I'm like, I really don't want to be doing this at all. I don't need this in my entertainment.
Like, let me enjoy my book.
Yeah.
Dragons. Where are the dragons?
That's right. Where is Andarna? I don't need to see you two fighting again.
She honestly saved the whole book. I think I talked about this with April too, that I was like, Andarna just saved the book because she had such iconic lines and such a good mood.
Yes.
I loved it. I feel like by the end of it, you understand why she's so confident, you know, in herself, and why she responds the way she does. You kind of understand by the end of Iron Flame why she's like that. But yeah, she saved the day for me in Iron Flame, which I was actually wondering what you both rated Fourth Wing and then what you ended up giving Iron Flame, Beam.
Oh, okay. I know you just asked me a question. I love Andarna is Iron Flame.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to read it for Andarna.
I don't even know what that means. We don't. Iron Flame.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
She is Iron Flame. She makes the book. But I feel like when we learned a lot about her, I feel like it was unrolled so quickly. I don't know. Maybe I don't think it was because I was listening too quickly or anything, but I just felt like
no, it was fast.
Unpack it more slowly. Just there's so much dragon lore sort of at the same time. And what about her? I almost wish that I could have it could have been written. I don't know. I don't want to be nitpicky, but I wish I could have like savored it more, if that makes sense. But like you're saying, I want to know more about dragons and their lives, and hopefully it'll come out. But yes, to answer your question, I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars, and I gave Iron Flame 4 stars.
Nice.
And what about you? Because I think you.
I gave Fourth Wing 4 stars.
Okay.
Ooh, 4. Why not 5? Terrible.
Wow. That's kidding. I flew through it really fast, which like is good. Like that's like, okay, I enjoyed this book and I can tell. But then like again, it pulled me out a little bit in the beginning of like what age group am I reading? And then so I kind of had to trick myself of being like, okay. And then so I was like, you know, like so I gave it a 4 because of that. And then also because I felt like I was like, I figured out what happened. I was like the brother's life. And I was like, ugh. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's a 4-star, and I'm still willing to like read more.
I think our girl here, B, is gonna figure things out a lot more in Iron Flame.
Oh yeah.
Than you even did in like Fourth Wing, because you're just gonna like spoil everything for yourself. You're gonna be like chapter 10, you're gonna be like, I know what's happening.
I know. Tara, you're gonna have to message me on Instagram, or and Joanna too.
Yes.
And tell us like,
add April in there and just have a support.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with Tara. So I think even in my wrap up, like my Books and Blush wrap up, I was like, look, in my soul, it's 5. I loved it. I had a great time. I'm obsessed. I have like 3 different editions that even today I was like, I don't need this, especially after reading Iron Flame. I was like, I don't need this. But I kind of agree. Like the writing pulled me out a little bit. And I feel like when the author distracts me in a negative way, you go down. You know, and I just mean like you can have bad writing or whatever, or maybe you don't have the best pace, but if you still enjoy the story, it's great, you know?
Yeah.
But when it starts to really interrupt your flow, like of the story, I think that's when it's an issue. And that's why I start rating things lower. And so I think I ended up giving it like 4 too, like 4.5. But in my heart, I'm like, it's technically a 5 because it's like my whole personality right now. It's like what was in my tops. I loved it so much. And like I've only ever had like 2 fictional like book boyfriends, and like Xaden is number 2. And I was like, I mean, he won me. So
wait a minute. Well, who's won?
Well, like this year, I lied. It's 3. So the first one was actually when I was 15, and I read Fallen by Lauren Kate, and everyone thinks it's Cam because he was like dark, broody, whatever, but it's actually Daniel. He became the blueprint boyfriend for like 15 boyfriends. Why does this feel so silly? Like, oh, my first crush when I was 15. I love it. I have to say your first book boyfriend because this feels so intimate, so private, so cringy.
You guys don't want to know mine.
What's yours?
Well, now we have to.
You won't know the book. Nobody will know the book.
It's okay. You guys don't know this book.
Don't tell it.
It's an Amish one.
What?
And is it one of those dark Amish?
It isn't.
Dark Amish.
I totally
telling me about these dark Amish books she keeps reading. I'm like, why are they so dark? She reads a lot of dark Amish books.
No,
Tara.
What?
Okay, Tara.
No, it was just like a book that I loved. It was by Lurleen McDaniel. Probably nobody knows her. It was like Angels Watching Over Me or what it was called. And like, I don't know why. I was a weird child.
So how old were you?
I was like 14 or 15.
Okay, yeah. So what was okay? I want to hear about them. Like, I'll tell you about Daniel. I want to hear about this Amish man.
It's literally because like they meet and like she's sick in the hospital and his sister's sick in the hospital and they meet and they have like a crush on each other and then like she goes and like stays in the Amish community with them and it's like the whole family and I was like, oh, this is so cute. And I was like, if I reread it now, it would probably be total garbage.
Let's say
but
he has like no other characteristics.
nope. And then he was sweet. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Young Tara. Oh,
Young Tara.
I kind of feel the same way about like mine, that I was like, would I still like you? I just loved him because, well, he was a fallen angel, that angel, fallen angel era. Gold, yes. Everyone loved Cam because he was so dark and broody and like dark haired. And I was really surprised because Daniel was actually blonde. And you don't really see a lot of like blonde, sexy MCs, you know, but he was one. And I feel like I'm talking about like an ex or like a first crush for real. Anyway, I liked him though because of his like unending loyalty. Like the story was about this girl that reincarnates and forgets about him, but they're such soulmates that they find each other no matter what. But when she finally recognizes him, she like bursts into flames and dies again. And he literally has to wait like another 1,000 years for her to come back. And I just loved it so much. You see me, look at me. I loved it so much. And I love that he was so, I was like, that's loyalty. I want that level of loyalty. The standard is high.
oh, really high.
Oh man.
Oh my
The
goodness.
eternal love, you know.
Oh, that is sweet.
I want to recommend a book to you, but I don't want to do it right now because I don't want you to know that it's similar to what you just said because it's a big surprise. I'm going to recommend a book to you later, Joanna.
Okay, but you need to tell us your first crush.
Noah. I think his name was Noah from The Notebook. Nicholas Sparks.
Oh, okay. The Notebook.
Yeah, either that or A Walk to Remember. I went through that whole phase,
Oh,
and I can't
did
think of his
too.
name. And if you ever saw the movie with Shane West too, when he played,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I just cried for like I went and saw that movie with friends, and then I came back home and they were like, "How was it?" I was like, "What?" And I don't think I couldn't talk for like an hour. Like I went through a major Nicholas Sparks phase when I was younger, and so Noah from Notebook and or Shane. I can't think of the name of the guy in A Walk to Remember.
I don't remember either. I read that. That was my first Nicholas Sparks book.
Yeah.
Shane?
What was it?
No, that's not it. I thought it was Shane.
Well, Shane West is the actor that plays him.
That's right. Just kidding.
Because I remember I had a huge Shane West crush too.
Oh my goodness.
I can look this.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's funny, Joanna, is I think that my crush was blonde too.
Blondes maybe had their era. They had their run.
And he like took care of her when she was sick. He was a caregiver.
Yeah, that's nice.
He was Amish. But
he was Amish. What?
He had to be. But it was like, will he choose her or will he choose his family? Because he has to choose. She's not part of the community.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh,
right.
Interesting.
Right. You're like high stakes.
Yes.
It was about like the apocalypse, and you're like, to be honest, not be honest,
to be or not to be.
I'm so sorry, y'all. Whoever's watching is here for Fourth Wing, and we're talking about first crash. You never know.
I am seeing the trailer for A Walk to Remember. I love that. See, and yeah, you're just apologizing for going off topic. I'm like, speaking of going off topic.
But find us a name. Find us a name.
I'm gonna find it.
But yes, Iron Flame. I think I'm leaning more toward 3. 3, and part of it was even like, dude, I feel like I could even give this 2 stars because there was just not enough moments that kept me like consistently captivated. It was like, oh, this is so good, and then it's like, okay, they're miscommunicating again, and then it was like, okay, this is really good. It's like, well, that was just stupid, you know. I was just so up and down about it, but it still gave me like good emotional moments. But honestly, I feel like her writing, I would give it 2 stars, and that's why it would be like a 3 stars. I know it sounds so mean, but I'm like, you need to edit. There were some parts, there were even some names that were misspelled over and over because I was like, I don't know, they edited so fast. I think she said she wrote it in like these 7 months, you know.
No wonder she's afraid to put out the next book so soon.
Yeah, and I know there's high expectations. So I kept all of that stuff in mind. I think that's why I kept it 3 stars with it. So I'm like, go take your time.
Yeah.
It's fine. Please edit this more because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be new adult fantasy.
Yeah.
And there's been YA that reads so high level that it reads almost like an adult fantasy. So I feel like, okay, new adult, you're more on like the low YA side, in my opinion. So I hope next time it's more like complex and gray. And as new adult fantasy should be. Right now, I feel like there's very clearly a good side and a bad side, and it's not gray enough for me to be considered adult fantasy, is my opinion.
I love that. I didn't really think about the gray versus the black and white for the differentiation between YA and adult, but that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. It's like Harry Potter was YA, right? It's YA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But even that writing was very, you know, like the world was deep.
Yeah, the further you get into the series.
Yeah.
By the way, Landon Carter.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not remember that at all.
Yes. Yeah. My computer's about to die, so I'm going to walk in and find my cord over here.
Okay.
No, I'm over here. Oh, this is always backwards. I'm sorry. Just ignore me. I'm listening.
Go.
My cord.
This is so funny though. This comment of like the books are so ridiculous. It's like a CW show. I'm entertained, even though nothing makes sense. Is the awesomeness of April. Like every time I see her book wraps too, like her wrap ups and stuff, like you're just having a great time, even though you're like, what was this book? You know, she's still like enjoying it. It's like,
right, like her monster romances, the Tyrannosaurus one, or the tarantula.
I thought of April the other day because what is this new Christmas one? All I Want for Christmas is Utah Raptor. April, did you see that?
I heard there was a paperclip one, but I was like, what is that even about? Like, maybe April can tell us. I was like, what is a paperclip? Like, what? Like, look at that. Yeah, I'm like,
she read it.
I read
the paperclip one or
the Utah one. The
Utah.
Utah one.
The T-Rex one or whatever. Dinosaur.
What a time, man. Honestly, I have to say in Fourth Wing, the dragons doing it and like influencing like Xaden and whatever was like
perfect scene. I loved it.
I was
like, oh, okay.
Okay. I saw this one reel from like a monster, also like a monster smut page that was like, so you're telling me the dragons don't end up, you know, being a part of this, like this experience, this smuttiness. It was just Don Juan
Don Juan Velociraptor.
Don Juan. Oh my lord. What is happening? These classics being turned into like monster romances.
Right.
That is definitely something new for me this year. That was like, didn't know that was a thing. It sounds really fun though.
Yeah.
Like I want to try one.
I haven't done monster.
Maybe I'll try the paperclip one. April, do you know about the paperclip one? Let us know because I have questions. I don't know what this paperclip is doing. Like, are we also mini sized? Is it a life size paperclip? Like, I'm so confused. I've just never read these things before.
Be in the background laughing.
Because it's so ridiculous.
It is funny. It is.
Oh my goodness.
I did it. Oh my gosh.
There it is. It's Clippy.
I'm gonna have to do it now.
Audacity. I guess we're gonna
do Clippy.
I love Clippy too. I don't want to.
Used to drive me crazy.
I don't want to hear Clippy's sexual awakening. Like, excuse me.
People
I guess it's
clamoring for that.
I think it's romance if he's Clippy. You know, like he's. Did he like? Is this like the continuation? Because there was trauma that Clippy went away, and so is this like us trying to cope? And someone wrote a romance about why Clippy left Microsoft, maybe.
And most importantly, what is Clippy's signet? We need to know.
Oh my gosh! But I haven't read that one, and we might have to do a little book club on that Clippy story.
Next live, let's do Clippy.
Oh, well, someone is apparently doing Clippy. Awful. Wild. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, one more thing though on this topic because I missed part of it because I was getting my cord. Somebody messaged me on Instagram because I was talking about like Christmas novellas, and I had just finished my paranormal, and they're like, if you're still doing monster ones, they sent me this link, and it's got like garden things, like flamingos, like the garden flamingos, and gnomes. And then there's something about a bear and a bird bath.
Oh my god.
And I was like, again, with the bear shifters. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Back to Fourth Wing. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Hi, Sylvia. We're just going everywhere. Girl, we're going everywhere. Is it your next fantasy romance needs to be Crown of Oaths and Curses? I've never heard of
that one.
Ever.
But
no, I hadn't heard that either.
I don't read fantasy romance, so not often.
You'll have to now. There's some really good ones
now.
I feel like with fantasy romance, it's like I can't read one. I have to read 1,000 to catch up. So like,
but to catch up to what?
To Joanna.
The world. Because like I have not read a Sarah J. Maas or Moss, and like everybody has, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like an undertaking. So I'm like, oh no,
it's wild. And I'm so like critical of her work too. Yeah, I like it, but I'm also like, you problematic. This is problematic. There's like both. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. There's some really good stuff out there though, and at least Fourth Wing introduced you to like a catch-all, because it does all the tropes.
Yes.
There's so many good ones out there though. And there's definitely books that are considered like fantasies with romance, not necessarily like fantasy romance. Right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's wild, but
I'm better with low fantasy personally. It's a little easier for me, but I like to try high fantasy.
I think
which is like
fantasy. Oh, sorry. The only high fantasy I have on my shelf is Lies of Loch Lamora, and I know that is a big undertaking of fantasy, and I was like, do I want to do it? But it sounds so good. That one's like a heist one, I think. I don't know, but I don't think it has any romance, so I'm like, oh goodness.
Oh no.
How am I gonna make it? Just kidding.
It'd be too difficult. Like if I try to watch something with my husband, I'm like, is anyone gonna kiss in this?
Is anyone gonna kiss? I think I consider Fourth Wing pretty high because there's like unpronounceable names, which apparently is like Gaelic inspired.
Cool.
And and there's like powers and magic and theories, and there's a lot,
different lands and
different lands, because I mean they're still human, but they're still living in a different world than we are, and it's not a portal fantasy where you just literally step into a portal and our world still exists. It's a whole other thing. There's a map. We love maps in the fantasy world.
Love a map.
There's a map. It's a romance that has no romance. No. No. It's read the initial novella first, The Scepter. It's important and only 100 pages. So if you like that, read Crown. Okay. We got a mission.
Romance without any romance, though?
A romance that has no romance.
Then what is it?
I'm confused.
Yeah.
We read The Scepter first because it's important. Then we read Clippy. I'm just kidding. Then we read
Conquered by
first. And then if we like that, then we'll read Crown of Oaths and Curses. Okay. That has no romance, but it's fantasy romance. Okay. We've like moved away so much from Fourth Wing. I'm sorry, people. If you're here for Fourth Wing, you're like, why are we talking about Clippy and like romance and high low fantasy? I'm trying to think of other books that we could recommend if you're done with Fourth Wing, or if you want to try something different. There's a ton out there. Like I know some people have like Serpent and Dove. Some people have hopped on into like ACOTAR, which actually helped me a lot. A Court of Mist and Fury was really good. The first book was terrible. But yeah, but that helped my hangover of like Fourth Wing was actually Akatar.
I do want to get back into that one again.
And try it again.
Yeah. Especially now that I know that we talked about it's cringy or whatever, the graphic audio, but I still kind of liked it. And now they're all out finally. So
is it? No, I didn't say it was cringy. I think it would be really cool to read.
No? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, some people definitely they did not like the voice
Oh,
acting of
I haven't.
in graphic audio.
Is that the one you start with? What you start?
Oh, yeah, the A Court of Thorns and Roses
Is that the one? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
I know it's Throne of Glass, but I'm
That's
honestly like not interested in Throne of Glass.
It's kind of hard. If you're not like really, if you're really interested in romance and you're not really a fantasy reader, it can be a little hard to get into that one, especially because fantasy readers already have a hard time sometimes with the first one. I really enjoyed the first book of Throne of Glass. I'm reading it now, but it has really like little to no romance in that first book.
Yeah.
And it takes time. It's April. Hate those graphic audio.
I know
someone.
It's not.
It sounds so good though. It sounds so fun, especially when I heard like there's this trailer challenge where like you listen to the trailer and like react to it for the audio book or whatever.
Yeah.
And I briefly heard Rhysand's like, "Hello, fair darling." And I was like, ah! Like I screamed inside, and I was like, "Wait, I shouldn't be because ew, it's her real life husband. No, thank you." I'm like, oh. Yeah, there's like this fight between Xaden versus Rhysand right now too. And it's just so funny because I get Rhysand is literally like supposed to be like the epitome of like this perfect partner and mate and male or whatever. But part of me cringes because I'm like, that's still based off of her real husband, like she said. And if you even see a picture of him, that's Rhysand. That's Rhysand. And I was like, well, at least I'm not crushing on someone's like actual husband because I'm here like Rhysand is fine, but I like Xaden.
Do we know? Could Xaden be based off?
No, she said no. She said,
okay, good. I was
like, so different too.
The Shady Hollow series. That sounds interesting.
Cozy mystery with aww.
Okay.
That's cute. Maybe you should try that one.
Yeah.
There's this new one coming out that's an adult whodunit fantasy that I heard is like pretty funny and fun. I don't think I'm interested because I don't think I'm into murder mysteries.
When I first started like getting into BookTube, like before I ever started a channel, I read a lot of like YA fantasy. So like was the Wrath and the Dawn series of like, is that that is fantasy, right?
I don't even know what that
By
is.
Renee Audier. Oh my god, that was like popular when I started.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was fantasy, but that one was like, or a retelling of like Aladdin. No, that's not right. 1,000 Nights or whatever. That's like
sure.
Yeah. And then I like read Invictus, which I think is that one is on my
That one is on my radar, I promise.
Yes.
It's so good.
I'll read it.
I know I've probably already said it a million times, so I'm just saying Great Gatsby meets Akatar. Basically, it's Fae in the world in 1920s. Prohibition era, New York City. It's so cool. It's the coolest. And I listened to it too. And it's so good. It's so good.
Did I spell that right? I think I did.
Oh, you're typing it.
We see it, yes.
The other one that I'm just S.E. Wendell, I just discovered her thanks to April, actually. She had a cover and I just fell in love with it. I don't own the book, but oh my gosh, it's so good. A halfling. It's not a halfling, where it's low fantasy, and he is half orc, half human, and he saves this human woman, Sorcha, from an orc camp where she had been dragged against her will. And so it's this road trip, and it's gorgeous. It's so atmospheric, and I loved it so much. And so that's my other recommendation.
And like Tara went away.
I know. Tara's like, I don't want to hear about that.
Sorry, I have to grab my charger from downstairs.
There you are.
This made me laugh.
My computer was about to die. I wonder if Tara's is too.
This made me laugh so hard because April, that's what a graphic audio is for. Because where is it? She
The
said it's the
music.
music and the sound effects that ruin it for me. I'm like, so you just want an audiobook, girl. That's all you.
That's right.
You're so funny.
That's right.
I would love to try it sometime and see, and
It's
especially
fun.
for Birthwing. I heard it exists, but I think I'll cry during the Liam scene
Oh,
again, like
yeah.
hearing it in with the music and everything.
Yes. Oh, I would love to hear that. That would
Ooh,
be awesome.
update. They are gonna do like an Amazon, like Amazon bought the rights for the book. So they will be doing a show or a movie. We're not sure yet. It's like a show. And Rebecca Yarros is actually going to be a producer on there, like a co-writer and stuff. So we'll
Oh,
see.
that's so exciting. Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
And then the sound effects on sci-fi. Sounds like we got a long way to go.
Yes, there she is.
I needed a charger.
Right? I knew it. I was like, I know. She's at the same. Your computer's about as good as mine, I
Oh
think.
my goodness.
Yeah, but we've been here a while, but we're having a great time.
Yeah.
Talking about all the things, all the fantasy, all the crushes. It should have just been like, let's talk about fantasy today.
Yeah.
And that's it. Because
Yeah.
that's where we're at this point.
Yes.
Because I don't know if anyone else had like a good topic to bring up as well as you were reading through Fourth Wing. Maybe even Iron Flame. Tara will cover her ears and her eyes. Take your eyeballs out to look. Because we love having you here. I'm like not taking Iron Flame because I don't want to kick you off or anything.
Right.
I'll leave if you guys want me to. It's okay.
No. I just said, Tara, I just said.
Sorry.
So we're just talking about fantasy at this point. Welcome to the chaos of our lives.
Yes.
But yes, oh my gosh. I don't know. We'll see what happens and how many books she's actually going to have in the series, which I also understand why maybe book 2 isn't like the best in the world because there are 5 books total. So you need some groundwork.
Yeah.
I just still think you could do better in your writing. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Can you imagine what else there is in store if we've got 3 more books in terms of just depth of and mythology, the background? I mean,
how she like just planned everything already.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't write. They better not, Sylvia. I'm gonna throw hands. Be like, have you seen that meme, the Sonic kid? Do you know what I'm talking about? Back in the day, the Sonic kid. Yeah. I'm such a memes person and whatever. There was this kid that was on YouTube and he was all about Sonic and the games, and the gaming community voted for something that really upset him. And he went on YouTube and ranted. And his iconic line was like, don't you know the consequences to your actions? Like, haven't you learned? It's so funny. And I feel like I'm that kid. Like, I'm that kid when it comes to Red Tower books. And if they push this out again super fast, I'm going to hit them with the Sonic kid because that's how I feel.
Hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah. And me neither.
I'm going to be glad to reread both of these, I think, before the third one. You know, and same with Prince of Prohibition that I was just showing you. That second book, The Veil of Violence, was supposed to come out like at the end of November, and the first one had just come out like a month before. And she's like, "I'm not feeling well, so I'm pushing it to February." I was like, "Good," because I want to re-listen. Because there, again, it was like more high fantasy, so there's a lot to unpack. But you know, I love how when you reread, you always pick up something new. You know, so with books like these, I need a good reread before I get back into it. So
I have charts of like the writers and the dragon and their signet because who died, who's still alive.
But also like a history of like what signet goes with who, and like of like even if like important figures that have died. I don't know. I'm gonna put that in because you never know. But like Zayden's dad, or just like that history of like who had what signet, and like I don't know, maybe why they all connect.
I'll tell you this, Sarah. Like you know how every chapter in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, they have like a transcribed piece at the top, information, but it also says like an authorized version of whatever, or like destroyed whatever, like
Yeah.
parts of history that technically we shouldn't know, but Jasenia is technically like telling us these parts of history. So there are certain names in there that we read as the author. And then at one point I messaged B and I was like, I think this guy that we met in Iron Flame is the author of like the unauthorized edition of like a history of Biscayeth and all this stuff. So that was like really interesting to me because part of me was like, are they dead? You know, like these authors, is it kind of like, you know, William Shakespeare wrote this and you're like, well, he's gone, he's dead, like thank you.
Right.
But no, they actually show up, some of them, and I was like, there is a lot of sneakiness in here, Yaros. There's a lot of sneakiness that I think I would have to go back and kind of like, I hope she makes a book out of those books too.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That would be good.
That would be so cool. Like they did with Harry Potter. Remember they had all those little
yes,
books, like
Fantastic Beasts and Potion Class. Yes.
Yeah.
And something else I want to say too about the little like the little blurbs that they would have at the beginning of each chapter. It's so funny. As I was reading this, I was also reading the Maiden Lane series by Elizabeth Hoyt, who does the same thing. She has like a fable that she cuts into like however many chapters is in the book, and then she puts a bit of the fable. And I found it to be really obnoxious. Actually, it was really annoying. It just took away from the story, and it was just like, why are we doing this? And it's sort of related, but anyway, I loved how she did it in Fourth Wing, and especially Iron Flame. And the thing that I thought was especially cool about Iron Flame, and I don't feel like I experienced this in Fourth Wing, but it was so superbly done in Iron Flame. You would be in the middle of the action and you're like right about to fall out of your seat, and then the chapter ends. And I mean, I felt like almost every chapter ended like that.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And then as I'm listening, it's like, and now there's a blurb from so and so.
Yeah.
You're like, he's about to die. Like, I don't have time for this right now. You know? But it was just so interesting how it was like, it reminded me of watching TV a long time ago. They'd be like, and now a commercial break.
Yes, that is so true.
But they did it every single chapter, it felt like. Just, you know, anyway.
So many cliffhangers. Many cliffhangers that I agree with April's comment here. Like, I have no idea how she's going to not just drag this out, but like end it. Because she said she already has it like outlined. So, and it might change. I've heard authors say that their characters tell them to go a different way or whatever. Yeah. So it could be that way. But the fact that she already has it all planned out, like her board must look insane. You know.
Okay, I have a question. I have a question, Miss Fantasy Person. Well, my assumption would be that fantasy writers generally always do have the kind of the end game. Is that not the case?
I think so. I think every author is different. Just kind of how like in your romance authors too that have so many books that they're writing. I know every time it's different though, right? Because they kind of have to break up to make a new story if you keep the same couple or whatever, or you throw in other complications. But I think most authors talked about having that outline, having something in mind. But 5 books is a lot. Like for this story for this couple, which is what April's saying here. 5 books is too many. I'm excited that it's 5 because I want to know more about like the dragons and the Empyrean in this world. But I was really like curious because I don't even know if Tolkien, for example, with Lord of the Rings, really had everything outlined. I think I remember reading that he had a round table where he sat down with like C.S. Lewis and stuff, and they would talk about, I know, what a fantasy iconic table. They would like talk about what they should write and like ideas and things. So sometimes I wonder if things really do change along the way and they kind of make it up as they go too. So I was really surprised that she's like, I'm ready to go. It's 5. You know, that sounds like something like Sarah J. like Maas would do or something.
Yeah.
She's like signed for 6 more books. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, well, that's why I say, like, I just picture like a publishing meeting where you're trying to get signed or you're trying to get a deal, and they're like, well, how does this end? And you kind of have to know, I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or like some of them said, like some debut authors have shared that sometimes they try to leave it a little open-ended for a sequel because you're not always guaranteed one, you know? And so that's why Yaros also said, I have it outlined for 5, but it depends on like the publishing company, which I don't think she expected Fourth Wing to be so big in Iron Flame, that I'm sure the publishing company would have no problem kind of like stretching it out, like the profits and the hype and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So maybe I like the fighting though. I like the fighting in the book. Because April said, let's cut out all the fighting.
I think she means the arguing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That kind of fighting.
I was like,
Fighting's good.
This is my book 5, I'll be 40 and too tired. If we still have the same stupid argument in book 4, book 2, book 5.
I know, right? Yeah.
Riot.
They
So it means
not.
like, how is she gonna like break them apart? Like, are they gonna be on opposite sides of some argument?
Inter Catriona, maybe. I don't know.
No.
No.
Anything. Maybe we could like ship another relationship. Can we do that?
There is that theory I shared with you, B,
Oh,
in
wait.
private, that I won't say because Sarah's
Oh.
here. I like that idea. I hope she
Yeah.
executes that
Yes.
idea.
Yes. I agree.
As long as it's not with Zayden. I'm just kidding.
Yes, she
Love
did. So we'll see. 5 books is, yeah, it's a lot. But there's so many things we don't know, like about the Venom. And Violet made such a good point in Fourth Wing where it really did sound like there was a teacher and a student, and it did make me wonder after Fourth Wing, like, is there a Venom school? Is there? Because I mean, how are they all in formation and like they all had different cloaks and stuff like that?
I told you, Joanna, that's going to be book 3. They're going to infiltrate the school.
I told you, like, if they infiltrate the school, they're all gonna die. Like, they're all gonna know they're not Venom.
You didn't love my idea.
Oh, but maybe
That's what they're going to do. They're going to get in disguise. They're going to go to the Venom school. It's going to be
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, no one.
And that's how they all died. The end.
I did think, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but I did kind of laugh when they're when they're with the Griffin riders and when Violet's like, because they were talking about the Griffin, like their test, they don't have the dragons, they have the Griffins, and she's like, and they said, oh yeah, we jump over the cliff.
Yes, that made me laugh too.
When they jump over the cliff and we try to land on a Griffin, and she's like, oh, and if you don't land on a Griffin, you die. They're like, no, we just fall in the water. And then we swim back and we try again. What do you guys do? I'm like, oh, we die. I'm like, you guys screwed up school.
That's it. That made me laugh so hard because
Yes.
kind of like what April was saying earlier, where she was like, West Guyeth College is the worst college. You kind of get like, I don't know, your bubbles burst after hanging out with the Griffin writers, because as readers, like, we obviously love West Guyeth because Violet loves it. We love writers because we love our MCs.
Right.
But then the Griffins writers come in and they're like, you guys are nuts. You guys are selfish, like in killing each other. You're weird. There's something wrong with your team. And so like that, when they're like, oh, and how do you guys get all of your colleagues from the shoreline? Like, do they just wash up? And they're like, we don't wash up, we swim like normal people, and we don't have to die. And like, we try again. And I was like, wow. And even I thought that was weird. I was like, lame. I'm like Riddock when I'm like, oh, losers, like, we gotta work for it. Like Taryn was like, you didn't get picked by a lowly Griffin, you got picked by a dragon. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, we're writers. Kill me. Yeah, they were so funny.
Oh, I love it.
That'll be a fun part. Okay.
Yes.
There's
a lot to love. And there is. I gave it 4 stars. I was just confused a lot of the time.
I'm sorry, but like,
much fighting.
I don't know what you picture. The only thing I can picture with Griffins, the way they're described in Iron Flame, is like, in Ice Age, there are like those weird, like, giant chickens that are kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Kind of like the dodo birds.
Yes.
That's what I picture. I cannot picture anything else, because it talks about their feathers and how they're not that strong and they're more fast, like, on the ground, and they have beaks and stuff. And all I can picture is like a giant chicken. like running around. And so that's why when they're flying, I'm like, you just jump on a chicken. Like,
Isn't it like a body of a lion?
Yes, it's supposed to be like that, but like sometimes you just describe them in the most ridiculous way, but it's also because it's a writer's point of view, and Taryn's like, they're weak, you know. And
That's true.
I think that's
And the
why.
poor things when they're going up the mountain because they haven't
Like
been
a giant
trained.
ostrich, basically. So I picture.
Oh, giant ostrich. There you go.
Yeah, I thought griffin. I don't know. Are griffins? I always thought they were like eagles' heads.
Yeah, I think it is an eagle head.
Okay,
She's just saying she thinks they're like chicken.
like because
They
they're
don't have like a chicken head, but he's just picturing a chicken.
I should have like brought them out. Yeah, also because they're tinier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially compared to Sigale.
I'll find them.
Yeah. And like when they said wyvern, I was like, oh, like as in what was the? Oh my gosh, now I can't.
Wyvern?
House in the Cerulean Sea, isn't it?
Oh.
And that's what the Venom ride is, wyverns, and there's a wyvern in the House in the Cerulean Sea. And I was like, oh, but the wyvern in House in the Cerulean Sea is adorable.
Oh no!
I was like, oh.
Oh.
And then there's this horrible one.
Yeah, definitely not.
Not the same.
Oh, how funny.
Okay, I'm downloading this one to show it.
She's
Should have come more prepared.
Griffin.
But we love visuals.
We do.
Gotta love a visual.
Not Clippy though. Okay, wait.
Except for Clippy.
Okay, here we go. Let me present this. Right. I'm like moving fast. Okay. So, what happened to you?
Did you see is this what you were for Pete's sake?
Oh, the reel.
Is this the one you were talking about?
Maybe.
It's
Wait, let me show you.
Oh, you show me. Oh, you want me to oh. And it's all why is it so
Yes, the art is so sad. But there's a reel that shows that entire scene with music and everything too. It's like the saddest thing ever.
It's the saddest thing ever. Oh my God. I'm sorry. What just happened? I'm sorry. Oh.
So the left is kind of what I picture. I just Googled like Ice Age giant bird. And like this is what popped up from the History Channel. And then the right is like more of what they are.
Yeah.
But they even describe like their feathers are like different colors too, right? Like they're kind of colorful.
Yeah.
And
I think they're cool. They're cool.
I'd rather have a dragon, but
well,
like,
I mean, but then I might die.
So that's true.
At least I get to swim back to shore.
I can't even swim, so I die either way. I just like well, and I have such bad aim, so I think I have better chance with the dragons. And if they get rid of me, they get rid of me. Like, thank you, goodbye, incinerated.
Target to hit when you're jumping for them.
Yes, but yeah, so left is kind of what I picture, like a giant like chicken thing running around, taking people. Infantry, and the right is what they actually are. It's just it's wild to picture.
Yeah,
I guess a dragon would be better.
You can have whatever you want, Tara. You can be a rider, infantry, whatever you want.
There you go.
You could try to be in the same squad. Although I am not a fan of like that torture training. You'll see.
No.
They briefly mentioned it in Fourth Wing that there are like certain classes that second years can't talk about, but it really changes them. Do you remember, Tara? That they're like, oh, second year really changes you.
I wonder if that's why Dane's changed.
Maybe. I guess we're like Dane sympathizers, appreciators.
Dane sympathizers.
I would have died. Yes, we definitely asked this question. Like, would you die in parapet? Would you want to be a writer? I know I would. I don't know. It would be fun.
What are the other choices? It's scribe, rider,
infantry.
Oh, infantry.
And I think like just those, and the healer quadrant.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'd be a healer.
I'd be a healer. Yeah.
I think they might survive better because they can heal.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was such a Nolan is the healer. Naolan is the writer that died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Naolan.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Now
Tarn.
it makes
How do
more
you say it? Tarn?
Tarn.
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 That's how they
That
say
was
it.
his writer, right? Before Violet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he only had one writer. Because they say like the more you bond, the less strong it is.
Mm.
Or the more strong it is, the less strong it is.
The less, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the less, because Jack's dragon
He was
had
just like,
bonded pretty easily. Yeah, he was like, well, or she was like, eh. And then I don't even remember. But Taryn was like, they always picked wrong anyway.
I love the comments between Taryn and Violet. Oh my
True.
gosh. Their relationship.
Sometimes the nicknames get to me. I'm like, okay, this is a little cheesy. Especially in the audiobook, because I don't like Taryn's voice in the audiobook.
Oh.
He's like, Silver One, like that. I think I did a good job, a good impersonation. But that's how he sounds, or like she sounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Props to the narrator. I don't want to hate on the narrator because I think they're doing a fantastic job. But at the same time, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Can Teddy Hamilton do those parts?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Love that.
But that always makes me like, a Silver One. Like every time now I read that, I'm like, I can't. Like I liked reading it more than I liked listening to it because I was like, this is less cheesy on paper.
Right. Yeah.
Because when I read it, that didn't pop out to me.
Yeah.
The nicknames.
It's just like calling her the Silver One because that's what she is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's just so.
Sylvia just said marriage in the next book.
Oh my gosh, you think
yes.
so?
Yes.
Between who?
Well, they're not ready.
They're gonna get
They're not ready.
They're if they
I don't
are
know,
ready,
after that throne scene, I'm not just kidding. You're like, I'm ready too. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Would they get married? They're so young. You think so?
I think so. They do say they die.
Yeah, let's do predictions for book 3.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah, they got to get married because they die so quick. In that quadrant.
Yeah. They do die pretty quick. I mean, if they're like out of angst. Marriage out of angst. That's so funny. Maybe, yeah. I feel like I could easily see them being like, well, we're stuck with each other forever anyway. And like, whatever. Because they are, right? I mean, there's a really important scene in the library in Iron Flame. And I think it really does show you that Yaros is straight up like they are endgame, because a lot of people were worried like, oh, what if he's the new Tamlin? Well, she got really upset. I saw a comment where she was like, I would never steal from another author's work, and she sounded upset in the comment, because everyone keeps saying this. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad she basically debunked whatever. I didn't think he was gonna be the next Tamlin, but people
sure.
So she debunked that, and she kept saying how they are endgame, and that they have this undying love. So yeah, I guess imagine if they did it, that'd be wild.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rebuild the world because it's gonna get torn down. Yeah, I mean, you can't keep those two in charge. What is it, the M guy? That guy can't stay in charge.
Mel.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Melgren hasn't gone crazy with like future or a baby. Sylvia, get out of here.
Baby. Oh, these are fun. I like
maybe dragon babies.
A dragon baby.
Oh,
a dragon wedding.
I'm down for the dragon baby.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. Lightning sex gotta be. No.
You know what? It's extra power.
Can I be like book 5 or something?
There you go.
You don't need this right now. Violet doesn't need baby Silver One.
Love it.
Oh, but I did want to bring up that theory though, because Violet is born with like the disease. She's like mentioned, she's described as like pale and like the colors drained out of her, and that her mom had a fever. And a lot of people actually speculate that maybe a venom poisoned her, kind of how she had that poison at the end of Fourth Wing. And that maybe while she was pregnant with her, she was injured. And that's what was happening. And somehow she survived. And so maybe she has like the ability to fight against the venom better, or like whatever, just not be influenced in the same way by their magic. But I thought that was a really interesting theory.
Yeah.
For pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because someone mentioned cats. Someone said that when a cat is pregnant and has a fever, their baby kittens are born with some like white or silver fur, like discoloration.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't know if there's cat people out there that maybe know more and can fact check. I can't. I've been like bouncing 3 different languages today. I'm done. Yes. Cat fact, this fact. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end. I'm done.
I'm done. I know. I actually probably need to go soon too, because I'm in our room and my husband's downstairs, and I was like, "Are you gonna be okay?" But I grabbed my cord. I'm like, "You still awake down here?"
Yes.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's playing whatever he's playing. I don't know what he's playing.
We shall end it. But yeah, that was just the last one that I was thinking of, the last theory that I wanted to bring up.
Love it.
Interesting one. I like that one.
We'll see. What do you think? Okay, Tara, predictions for Iron Flame. Your last thought.
Yes.
Iron Flame predictions?
Yeah, Iron Flame.
I'm gonna start reading it right after we're done. I can feel it.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I like
do a bingo card. I wish I did a bingo card. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I feel like Dane
Uh-huh.
is gonna be surprised that when they come back. Obviously, is like how did you guys survive? But like can't really show that he knew. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Also, I'm like just excited to see like how they got out, like get out of the situation that they're in, because obviously Dane's dad sent them to die. So like how, like what happens at that little town or encampment or whatever it is that they're at. Like I want to learn more about that, but then they're going to have to go back to the school eventually. Right? I would think so.
So that's your prediction.
Continue on their education, hopefully. I mean, they got to get through the torture class or something, you guys said. Or maybe there's a school where they're at and they continue on there. I don't know. How is that going to happen? How?
These are your predictions.
She did a great job.
Did I, though?
Yes, you did. You did.
You have a lot of theories in that beautiful head of yours.
Yes, she does.
For Iron Flame. So you'll have to see. And like we'll have to see if you predict all the major things that happen in Iron Flame. So we shall start a support chat group.
Yes.
If anyone wants to join, there will be spoilers in there because we will have someone reading through Iron Flame with 3 people that have read it already. So
yes.
But we want to see the tears live. We want to hear the chaos live, the frustration. You telling us that you're sick of Xaden and Violet fighting over and over.
I will, because I will get sick of that. I know me.
Oh my gosh. But I appreciate both of you hopping on here talking.
Oh my gosh, so happy to do it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, so fun. We're gonna have more lives together for sure.
Yes.
Because I just love chatting. I do less like reading sprints and more like let's just talk forever,
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Make sure everyone that's watching, rewatching, you check out both of their channels. Follow them. They're on Instagram as well. I don't think anyone here does TikTok, but 2 socials is enough, okay? But we're trying.
We are trying.
Yeah, I appreciate you ladies so much, and it's so fun. And it's especially fun asking romance readers their take on fantasy.
Yes.
First high fantasy, kind of.
Yeah.
Basically.
So exciting.
This was fun. Yes, April, next time we need to have you on here, maybe for book 3, or just a regular fantasy live we can do. And especially if Tara's going to finish reading it, because she's going to read it before the end of the year is over. She has told us.
That is a big ask
Or
right
I'm
now.
going to start sending spoilers. I'm going to be like, and this happened. Kidding.
Yeah.
I might have to listen to it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sylvia, we'll see if marriage in book 3.
You know what? I'm here for the dragon babies. I'm with Sylvia on that one.
The dragon
babies, I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's such a weird book. It'd be like, where's Sigil? She's just gone. But
yeah.
Guys, have a good night.
Yes.
Start saying bye as I click end stream because it gets weird.